Is your number one source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Veterans face treacherous situations filled with peril while serving our country. Many veterans come home physically injured, suffering from PTSD, have traumatic brain injuries, or other ailments. At an unprecedented time in history, our most vulnerable veterans are isolated at hospitals and their homes. Imagine having to shelter in place forever. Over the past year, Help Heal Veterans has sent nearly 500,000 therapy kits to isolated veterans and active military. Help Heal Veterans, with the support of citizens like you, creates, manufactures, and distributes therapeutic art and crafts projects for our veterans and military, making things better together. Join us in supporting an isolated or sick veteran and help them through this desperate time. To learn more, visit healvets.org. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans, a not-for-profit organization that has been helping veterans for 50 years. healvets.org.
This is what matters. This is beyond X's and O's. This is the difference mutual respect makes. This is what character looks like. This is what defines us in Tennessee. This is sportsmanship. School sports, it's not the outcome that matters most, but the way the games are played. This message presented by the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. This hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Good morning, everybody. Time to wake up, rise, and shine. Get your Tuesday underway as we welcome you into Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy is back, and Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Right now, arcades up to 25% off. They have all types of great deals on all their fun toys like air hockey, pool tables, shuffleboard tables. Make sure you stop by, say hi to Billy and the gang. Friday's Black Friday, so there's always deals at Family Leisure. First hour of the program brought to you by Action 24/7. Coming up on the show today, we got a little bit of this, we got a little bit of that, we got a lot of this, we got a lot of that. We got the Grizzlies last night. Every other game, they step up. They played great against the Clippers. Then they laid an egg in Minnesota. Then they went out to Salt Lake City, the scene of the crime from last year's first-round playoff series, and they beat the Jazz in dramatic style. Jaren Jackson Jr. really stepping up. We will talk about the Grizz win as they go 119-118 if you're scoring at home to improve to 9-8. They'll be back in action tomorrow against Precious Achiuwa and the Toronto Raptors. We'll talk NBA, other than the Grizzlies, where the LeBron James, Isaiah Stewart altercation has resulted in suspensions. We will give you the details. Of course, the Tigers basketball team in New York City. New York City, that's right. They're actually in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, where they'll play Virginia Tech tomorrow, and they'll play either Iowa State or Xavier on Friday. We will discuss Memphis Tigers basketball on the program today. Of course, talk plenty of college football. Rivalry week, the last week of the regular season. And the Tigers trying to get the 6 wins. They'll take on Tulane on Saturday. We will discuss that on the program. We got some Major League Baseball news. We have news of another professional football league. Connor O'Gara will join us at 7:25, senior national columnist for Saturday Down South. Dr. Adam Walker is going to pinch hit for Jeff Crane today because he's with the team in New York City. So we'll get the latest from Adam Walker. And because of scheduling conflicts, I don't believe we'll be able to get Tiger assistant Cody Toppert on the program, who joins us every week, as they are just loaded with a schedule that starts bright and early in the morning in New York City and then ends after dinner time, as the guys have been enjoying themselves a little bit, seeing the sights of New York City, but also, as they say, it's a business trip. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming up for you today as well. Plus, we'll give you our topic for our 5 favorite things, which we will do tomorrow. We do every single Wednesday. Let me welcome in my buddy Eli Savoy, who's been off the last couple of days. Hope last couple of shows, I should say. Hope you had a great weekend, Eli. Good to see you again.
Yeah, it was a fantastic weekend. Good trip. Got out of town, enjoyed some beautiful weather out in the Palm Springs area. Sunny and 85 every day just is a good way to live. I'll tell you that much. And then it gets down to like 60 at night. It's just absolutely gorgeous stuff.
Why do you think so many people retire to that area?
Man,
if they have the money.
It is beautiful part of the world, that's for sure. And so yeah, it was a good trip, but good to be back, ready for the holiday week. I don't even know what day it is, but nonetheless, it'll only get more confusing as the week goes along as far as what day it is. Did want to start with a mention of some sad news for us here at Flynn Broadcasting, as last night, not the news that I wanted to arrive home to, but late last night we lost a member of the Flynn Broadcasting family. Bernie O'Brien has been an engineer here for I don't even know how long. It's been longer than I've been here. And last night, Bernie passed away late in the evening, and so we want to send our thoughts and prayers to Bernie's family and friends and folks out there. And I know it's probably there's people listening that he's not only that he with the Flynn broadcasting stations here, but all around the various area. Many Flynn broadcasting stations that Bernie has been an engineer for and done many things for, so cross paths with a lot of people out there. And Bernie unfortunately passed away last night, so we again send our thoughts and prayers to the family of Bernie O'Brien.
Absolutely. I certainly echo those sentiments. It's been a big part of the fabric of Flynn Broadcasting for many, many years, and he will be missed. You mentioned the weather out in Palm Springs. The weather here in Memphis, you're waking up to 31 degrees. Quite nippy outside.
A little different.
But when it's clear, I love it. And it's going to be a sunshiny day. It's going to get up to the mid-50s. That's fine. You slap on a jacket. You may need a hat. Eventually, you're going to need some gloves for the winter, but that's okay. It's when I wake up to rain, cold rain, and gray skies, and it's freezing out. That's when I get a little depressed. But I'm fine. As long as the sun is shining, all is right in the world. Well, as I said,
let's be honest. Cold weather.
No.
Cold weather.
No,
sucks.
it doesn't. It doesn't.
It does.
It's cold, wet, and gray. That combination sucks. There's no question.
Cold sucks.
And you're from Chicago. I don't believe you're from Chicago. I need proof.
I am not from Chicago.
Well,
correct.
Kankakee, that area, north of us, where there actually is winter, real winter, you've become a wuss. It's unbelievable. I've become a little bit of a wuss weather-wise because I'm so used to pretty much pleasant weather in Memphis. Obviously hot as hell in the summer, but not as bad in the winter as what I'm used to. But I have been here 26 years, so I have changed a little bit as well. But no, I don't mind that cold, crisp air. It's fresh outside. Everything smells better. There's no bugs. You're not sweating to death. I like it. You could put on a jacket and a hat and a scarf and gloves. You could put on any type of long johns if you need to. Anything to warm yourself up. It's the summer.
But nobody likes to do that.
Yeah, but when it's 98 and you're sweating in your air-conditioned car, you can't get cool. You just can't cool down. Especially when you're outside, you can't cool down. You can definitely warm up. You can warm up. So anyway, last night, Monday Night Football, we will talk about that in just a moment. But we begin with the Grizzlies from last night. And I've nicknamed the Grizzlies every other because every other game, they're really good or they're really, really bad. And once again, last night, no Dylan Brooks, so I don't want to hear it from people who said, oh, they lost by nearly 50 against Minnesota on Saturday or whenever it was. I mean, I'm getting the days mixed up as well. Yeah, it was Saturday, I believe. Because they didn't have Dylan Brooks. Shut up. They didn't have Brooks last night. They didn't have Anthony Melton last night. They won in Salt Lake City. Last year, of course, first round of the playoffs, they won the first game against the Jazz in Salt Lake City, ended up losing the series 4-1. And it's the same bunch of guys for the Jazz, led by our good friend Mike Conley. And last night was a heck of a game. The Grizzlies would not go away. They kept making plays. And then down the stretch, they had the jump ball because of an inadvertent whistle by the officials. And Brevin Knight, friend of the show, Grizzlies television analyst, could not have described what was going on or what the Grizzlies were going to try to do in that jump ball better than I've ever heard anybody talk about or describe a jump ball and the strategy. And he talked about Jaren Jackson Jr. going to his left hand, going up against Gobert, and he wins the tap. And the Grizzlies get the ball, and Jaren Jackson Jr. drills the three. He was terrific. Ja, especially second half, was terrific. Desmond Bane, terrific. Three-headed monster last night. It was enough to hold off the Jazz as the Grizzlies rally and win 119 to 118 to improve to 9-8. This despite Bojan Bogdanovic's 7 triples. He was unconscious, 7 of 11 for 24 points. But boy, oh boy, what a shot by Jaren Jackson Jr. What a game for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, it was. It is weird to think that you go lose by 1 million to the Timberwolves and then go beat the Jazz on their home floor. Not exactly the way you draw that up, but you come out of it 1-1, which I guess is probably the expected result with those two games. I got home just in time. I got literally turned on the TV when I got home last night with about 2 minutes remaining in the game. So I saw the last couple of minutes of the game, and it's big time. It was a great find by Ja Morant to find Jaren Jackson Jr. Not an easy find, but with Gobert and Brevin talked about that too. That Gobert being such a shot blocker, soon as Ja starts going to the rim, Gobert's first inclination is, I'm going to go protect the rim because that's what he does. That leaves Jaren wide open. Great pass by Ja out to Jaren in rhythm and knocks it down. And then a really good defensive possession after that as the Jazz trying to still get the win. It's not like Jaren's shot was at the buzzer. They still had a chance at a possession. And Desmond Bane did a great job against Donovan Mitchell, forced him into an extremely difficult shot. And it's a nice bounce-back win for the Grizzlies. Again, I mean, you got to put – when you go lose by 40 to the Timberwolves, I'm sure you're just they talked about big-time, long team meeting, everything else. That's one you want to put behind you. And getting a win like that last night against a really good Jazz team in dramatic fashion, that's a good way to put a 40-point loss behind you.
Exactly. Now, before they went to Minnesota, they played the Clippers at home, and they played great. They're every other. So I'm worried about tomorrow night. Precious Achiuwa, the former Tiger, and the Toronto Raptors come to town, and I expect the Grizzlies to get beat tomorrow night and then bounce back on Friday at home and beat the Atlanta Hawks. It's just one of those deals. But when you add it all up, they're 9-8. One day I'm criticizing them for their lack of defense. The next show I'm praising them for their offensive execution. It's just going to be one of those seasons. And right now, when you look at the standings in the NBA's Western Conference, the Grizzlies, the Portland Trailblazers, and the Denver Nuggets are all 9-8. And that's for the battle for the 6th spot. And then right after them, the Lakers at 9-9. But the Grizzlies at 9-8, still in the thick of things. As long as you're 500 or above, you're hanging around. Now, Golden State and Phoenix are starting to distance themselves from everybody. We're 17, 18 games into the season. We're not deep into the season, but we're starting to get there. We're approaching the quarter pole. Golden State is a whopping 15-2, and Phoenix is red hot. They have won 13 straight games, and they are now 14-3. Utah, with the loss last night, they dropped to 11-6. The Clippers are 10-7 and doing so without Kawhi Leonard, and we don't know when he's coming back. Then there's Dallas at 9-7, right in front of the Grizzlies, the Blazers, and the Nuggets. Now, the Nuggets may be a little bit shorthanded. It looks like Michael Porter could be out for maybe even the season.
Yeah, that's a nerve issue that they said could. I mean, and he was, and I don't know if that is to blame for the start to the season, but he got off to a horrendous start shooting the basketball. And now they're saying that may not play again this year. So that would be a big, big loss for Denver if he's not able to go after they sign him to the $200 million max extension in the offseason.
Timberwolves are right now in 10th at 8-9 and playing some pretty decent basketball. And then there's a big difference. There's a chasm between the next 5. You got the Thunder at 6-11, the Kings, who just fired Luke Walton at 6-12, the Spurs, 4-12. Maybe it's time for Pop to end his Hall of Fame career at the end of this season, at least. The Pelicans 3-16. I think they're getting Zion back sooner than later. I think he's back to practice, and maybe that will help, but they're going nowhere. And then the Rockets at 1-16. The Rockets may end up with the worst record in the history of the NBA. They may. This is not hyperbole. I'm serious. So there's a big distance now between the top 10 and the other 5. So the Grizzlies, unless they go into this real bad rut, I think will continue to do these things all season long. They're going to be inconsistent, play great one game, play poorly the next game. They're not as good defensively, not even close at this point right now. Yet they're going to be right there. They're going to be in the play-in, and they're going to be in the playoffs. It looks like. I just don't see anybody from that bottom tier breaking up the lower portion of the Western Conference and jumping up into the race.
Yeah, we talked about it in the preseason. Like it's going to be pretty difficult for them not to be at least in the play-in. I mean, there is a number of bad teams in the West that really, not only are they not going to be competitive, they don't care to be competitive. Like,
right.
Most of them are trying to lose,
right,
for the most part. So a lot of those teams, they're not going to be a factor. So it's going to be a situation where the Grizzlies, you hope you secure a playoff spot, but without having to go through the play-in again. But there's a long way to go, and you have to expect that the Lakers certainly are going to get better as the year goes along if they get healthy and all of that. But it's going to be and then Clippers obviously, and we know Utah is really good. We know Phoenix is really good. The Warriors are going to get Klay Thompson back, and it's a little scary to think how good the Warriors have already been without Klay Thompson. But yeah, I think the Grizzlies are in that 5, 6, 7, 8 range, and probably will be throughout the season. If you could, and the thing is, it's so tightly bunched, especially right now. And again, it'll sort itself out. But all it takes is you win 3 in a row or you lose 3 in a row, and you can move way up or down in those standings.
The numbers individually from last night, if you're scoring at home, Ja ends up with 32 points, 7 assists, and 4 rebounds. He was throwing up a bunch of bricks from 3, and then I tweeted, boy, if this guy can make threes consistently, he's indefensible. And then he goes out there and knocks down the next 2, missed his last one, but a couple of big threes. A career-high 28 for Desmond Bane, who has his shooting touch back. He went 4 of 8 from 3. And then Jaren Jackson Jr. with 26 points, the game-winning 3, and 8 rebounds. This is a nice little tidbit our friend Sean Coleman tweets out. Number of games with 2 blocks and 2 threes in a game in Grizzlies history. Mike Conley 11 times. That's weird with the blocks. Shane Battier 29 times. Rudy Gay 30. Marc Gasol 34. Jaren Jackson Jr. with 40. 40 already with 2 blocks and 2 threes. His issues, obviously, are his inconsistency. And he's getting better. He's better on the boards, I can tell you that much. He's rebounding the ball a lot better. And they need him to rebound the ball better because Adams, who had a pretty solid defensive game last night, is not rebounding the ball at the pace that Valanciunas was, so they need the help. And Brooks, who's a pretty good rebounding guard, has missed a lot of games, so they need Jaren to certainly step up. All right, from the Grizzlies to the Lakers, and the NBA has announced the fines, or the suspensions, rather, for LeBron James and Isaiah Stewart. It's exactly what I said it would be yesterday on the show. My prediction was LeBron James gets 1 game and Isaiah Stewart gets 2 for their altercation in Detroit. Now, there's a lot of people that think James is getting off the hook here. He's getting off the hook easy, that he should be suspended more games than Isaiah Stewart. But I don't think so. What do you think?
Well, while I get the idea of, LeBron started this with what I believe was absolutely an intentional.
Oh, you think it was intentional?
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, he looked right at, as he was doing it, he looked right at him. He got mad that he was getting shoved, and he turned and hit him. I believe it 100% was intentional. So on that, I could see where you could say, well, maybe LeBron deserves more. But Isaiah Stewart lost his mind. You can't continue the, as they call it, escalation of something like that. He couldn't be controlled. Every time they thought they had him in control, he continues to freak out and go more and more at it. So that to me, well, again, what I think what LeBron did was ridiculous. What Isaiah Stewart did, you just can't go that crazy. I can understand being mad, but at some point you got to calm down and quit charging at people on the basketball floor. So I would have, would have probably given each of them more games, but I have no problem with 1 and 2.
Well, that's interesting because I watched it, but I haven't really watched it closely. It's not like the Zapruder film. I'm not looking for the second shooter on the hill. And so I just took it for granted that it was just guys jostling and then he hit him with the backhand fist, that it wasn't not premeditated, but purposely done, as you indicate you believe. So I wonder how the NBA looked at it, because if they did determine that he did it on purpose, then I can see more than a single game suspension warranted, although it is the king, it is LeBron James. So I wonder if they came out of that with the same conclusion you did or not, because if that was deemed purposely done, then I would give him multiple games. And you're right, Isaiah Stewart escalated the whole deal because he's going bat crap, and then crazy, and he wanted a piece of LeBron James. So
I think he wanted a piece of anybody who just was around in the area. He just was going crazy. It was a weird scene with the blood and everything else, and him just losing his mind like that. That's a weird scene.
Yeah, it seemed like his response escalated once he realized he was bleeding, and that's happened before with people in fights. I've been around the fight business a long time, boxing, MMA, and, that's what they're in the ring for, or that's what they're in the octagon for, is to fight, to throw punches. But, boy, there's just something that fires up somebody when they are drilled and they start bleeding. It just revs up their juices a little bit more. So it seems like that's what happened. There are some that I've heard on national radio say, hey, he had a chance to pop LeBron James right away. He didn't do it. So then he starts acting a fool, like he wants to get to LeBron, knowing that he will never reach LeBron.
Well, that's sports fighting. That's what that is. I mean, that is how 95, probably 99% of sports fights are, is the hold me back guys.
Yeah, there's
because
a lot of that.
Part of it is, I mean, if you do, throw the punch immediately or whatever, I mean, it's going to cost you a whole bunch of money and you're going to be suspended for quite some time. So, but a lot of guys, watch every fight basically that happens outside of the sport of hockey, and it is all that they square up, both have an opportunity to throw a punch if they so choose, but then they wait for everybody to grab them, and then they get really, really mad and really want at that person once they know there's 4 guys to hold them back, and they're never going to get there.
Yeah, no question about that. All right, so we got a lot of Tigers talk. I'm right now texting back and forth with Cody Toppert. It looks like we are going to get Cody Toppert on the program. Not sure exactly right now the time. It looks like 8:45 Central. 8:45 Central. Cody from New York City. There's a lot to talk about with the Tigers. Congratulations, by the way, goes out to Jalen Duren, who had a monster game the other night against Western Kentucky. No doubt about it that he was going to win the American Conference Freshman of the Week honors, and he did. So 2 weeks into the season, Eli, you got Amani Bates wins the first week, the Freshman of the Week, and now Jalen Duren, second week, wins the American Conference Freshman of the Week. I would imagine that the Tigers will probably own that award.
I would say you could probably name it the Bates Duren Freshman of the Week award for this season. I'm gonna guess those two guys will have quite a few of those in the old trophy room by the end of the year.
Folks, we're a ways away from lunch, but it's never too early to think about lunch, think about dinner, what you want to do. With Thanksgiving coming up on Thursday, you're probably not a lot of people that want to really cook tonight and tomorrow, other than getting ready for Thanksgiving and cooking that turkey. So what's an easy thing to do? Head on over to Corky's, a Memphis staple for over 30 years. That's exactly what my wife and I did last night. 4 Mid-South locations on Poplar Avenue in East Memphis, Poplar Avenue in Congerville, Germantown Parkway in Cordova, Goodman Road in Olive Branch. We split a rack of ribs, and then we split a small order of barbecue nachos. And it was outstanding. I mean, outstanding. What they do is they fire it up in their Corky's hickory and charcoal pits. Their shoulder, their ribs, their beef, their chicken. They have outstanding sides and their world-famous onion loaf. If you don't want to go barbecue, they have hot tamales. They have chicken bites. They have hamburgers. They got great desserts as well. You can dine in, carry out. That's what we did last night. We carried out. Or have Corky's cater an event. Shop online, have Corky's deliver their delicious barbecue anywhere in the United States. They can cater holiday parties that are coming up. And a Corky's gift card always makes a great gift, a great stocking stuffer. It's Corky's Ribs and Barbecue, open for lunch and dinner 7 days a week. We're going to switch gears, talk college football when we return. Our buddy Connor O'Gara, who joins us every Tuesday from Saturday Down South. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, this is former Tiger Gabe Kuhn. Check out my new show, Sports Time, with Brett Norsworthy. Make sure you join Stats and I every single afternoon from 3 to 6 on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
You might not know me, but I'm Zip with the ZipCat construction app.
Why are you collecting leftover construction materials, Zip?
I'm turning it into cash.
That's easy. You can turn leftover materials into cash. Keep it out of dumpsters and help the environment.
That's why they call me Zip, the construction guru. Also, ZipCat app saves you time and money. Lets you describe a job, name your price, and get a job done.
That's smart, Zip. You're amazing.
General contractors, take a few minutes, price a job, and get it done. Download the free ZipCat app in the Apple Store or Google Play. Best tool in your toolbox.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, we are working an accident on Shelby Drive at Tuggle Road. That's Shelby Drive at Tuggle Road. Expect heavy delays in that area. They are working road construction in that area as well. So, accident on Shelby Drive at Tuggle Road. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. Good Tuesday morning to you. Greg, Eli, and Zach. Connor O'Gara joins us in just a moment. 31 degrees, going to get up into the mid-50s today. Sunshine on this Tuesday, just a couple of days away from Turkey Day. We'll not have a show on Thursday, but we will have another new show tomorrow and a new show on Friday. It's such a great week for family and friends and travel and things like that, but it's also a great sports week with so much happening. We talked a lot in segment number one about the Grizzlies' win last night. We're going to talk some college football with Connor in just a moment. Our friend Steve Berkowitz from USA Today, who we have on occasionally on the program, he does a lot of the money thing for USA Today, breaking down coaches' salaries and bonuses and things of that nature. He just tweeted out, college football head coaches at FBS public schools have picked up more than $5.6 million in bonuses so far this season, not including the value of automatic extensions and future raises. The top bonus totals to this point, your boy, you guessed it, Eli, Iowa's Kirk Ferentz has already picked up 600 G's in bonuses. UTSA's Jeff Traylor, who definitely deserves it, they still haven't lost a game, 475, and then third on that list, Utah's Kyle Whittingham at 356,667 after a big win for Utah over Oregon the other night.
Kirk Ferentz is, I'm telling you, Kirk Ferentz doesn't, whatever he does, it earns him money somehow. Like he could beat like a FCS team, and it's somehow a bonus for him, I think.
Time now for Connor O'Gara.
It's time to talk some SEC and college football. Joining Greg and Eli is Connor O'Gara from SaturdayDownSouth.com. Now, here's Connor O'Gara with Greg and Eli.
He is Connor O'Gara, senior national columnist for Saturday Down South, Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Catch him every Tuesday all year long right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Good morning, Mr. O'Gara. How are you?
Gentlemen, doing well, man. Busy week. There is just like a couple things I guess we could talk about today. I don't know, just kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel. It seems like, sheesh.
How about Missouri being the coach killer in the SEC? It continues. It's happened an awful lot recently, and it happened again as Missouri goes with the 2-point conversion. Eli Drinkwitz comes out with the Darth Vader lightsaber, and Dan Mullen, and a couple hours later, finds out he's out.
Yeah, must just be an Eli thing. If your name is Eli, you're just savage like that. What a crazy way for that game to end, too. And I was pretty dialed into that one. And I was of the impression that Connor Bazelak was about to throw a fall-away interception. And I'm sure every Mizzou fan from sea to shining sea thought the same exact thing. But instead, it ends up being just another devastating loss for Florida. And I don't think Dan Mullen necessarily saves his job if he wins that game. Maybe the narrative is a little bit different after that one because he had the Philly special that he called on the touchdown right before that. But Dan Mullen is indeed out of a job, and go figure that it's Mizzou who provides the nail in the coffin. I saw the tweet from Dave Matter about that, and it's interesting because we were saying a few weeks ago, what if Dan Mullen just goes 8-4? Yeah, what if he kind of shows that this floor is really not what some were expecting, and he's able to beat South Carolina and Mizzou. He didn't, and it was pretty easy and pretty unanimous. I feel like I didn't see anybody saying that Dan Mullen needed to keep his job, and you could talk about the letdowns against the likes of Kentucky, Mizzou, and South Carolina, but what's even more depressing and why I think so many Florida fans are ready to turn the page. Florida's ranked behind all three of those programs in the recruiting class rankings too, and that's stunning. That cannot happen for a coach that's in year 4, would have been in year 5 next year had he got another season. Instead, Scott Strickland pulls the plug, and Florida's going in a new direction yet again.
How did we get here? Like, how does it go from Dan Mullen winning the East last year and putting up as good a fight as anybody against Alabama in the SEC championship game, to being fired just less than a year later?
There are a couple ways to answer that. And if you just look at the on-the-field product, you would say stubbornness got him to that point. At a place like Florida, when a defensive coordinator has the worst defense since the Woodrow Wilson administration, you have a duty as a head coach to say, look, we got to go in a different direction. And Dan Mullen wasn't willing to do that, so that was part of it. There is a deeper-rooted issue at Florida that dates back to the Black Lives Matter march. And the way that Dan Mullen responded to that was not received well in that locker room. Mm-hmm. And from what I was told, Brian Johnson, the former offensive coordinator, who left at the end of last season to take the quarterback's job with the Philadelphia Eagles, which raised a lot of red flags, in my opinion, that he was the guy that kind of kept that team together. Dan Mullen wasn't that guy, and he just wasn't well received in that building from players, from administration, from people even working in the video staff. Like, it just top to bottom did not work. And the more things spiraled and the more he lost, the worse things got. And he continued to put his foot in his mouth. And it's not just as simple as looking at the record and saying, oh, he was 34-15. That's the SEC. Oh, that's Florida. Crazy fan base. There's so much more to that. And you could tell that Dan Mullen, at the end, did not look like a guy who wanted to be there. And his team certainly didn't look it. And celebrating the way that he did after the Stanford game, that couldn't have been well received. And there was certainly enough booster momentum to pay a $12 million buyout.
Yeah, that's one I completely missed. Now, I was not aware of all the other things off the field. I started to read things about him. But going into the job, I thought they made the right hire. I thought he had a lot of success at Mississippi State. I just struck out on that one. Obviously, Florida struck out on that one as well. So where does Florida go from here? And answer this question, Connor, because this was a question we brought up a lot yesterday on the show. Better job, LSU or Florida?
Gosh, that's the question of the week, man. I'll answer this by saying, if I were, let's say, I don't know, like Lane Kiffin or something like that, and if I had both offers sitting on the table, both same money, it's a contract that's going to pay me maybe $8 million a year for the next 10 years or something like that, because that's probably what it's going to take to poach someone like Lane Kiffin to come over the top with the state law in Mississippi that says that contracts can only be 4 years in length in the state of Mississippi. So if I were Lane Kiffin, I would lean LSU a little bit. And I would lean LSU because I don't necessarily think that you can continue to say, Florida's this unbelievable in-state recruiting ground when the program doesn't necessarily have this stranglehold on it. And you're kind of looking at this situation, you're like, well, Florida has really struggled to recruit in-state compared to what we would expect. They don't have those relationships at IMG Academy, St. Thomas Aquinas, and these places that you just need to be able to win if you're Florida. Mm-hmm. And LSU already has the facilities upgrade. Florida's getting that next year, the $85 million new football-only facility upgrade. LSU already has the pieces that I want, and Florida is still trying to establish those. I like how LSU has a little bit more of the in-state recruiting ground that they control. So I ultimately think that Billy Napier is going to be the guy at Florida. I think that others like Brian Johnson should get a look. I think Dan Lanning, the Georgia defensive coordinator, is super intriguing. Dave Aranda is going to be thrown out there as well. But it looks like Billy Napier could end up being the guy. I'd be surprised at this point if Billy Napier isn't the guy at either LSU or Florida. It just feels like he's finally trending in that direction after turning down the likes of South Carolina, Mississippi State, and Auburn. I think we're heading in that direction for the Louisiana Lafayette coach.
And there was a report yesterday, right, that LSU was down to 3 guys. Was that correct? I was traveling. Did I see that right?
Yeah, I saw Glenn Gilboa had that, and I like Glenn, and I think he's probably spot on. He's very well informed with all matters LSU, but I always kind of wonder about that with Scott Woodward. Like, you just kind of never know. He plays it very close to the vest, and I do kind of wonder about that. Like, he's not going to be afraid to throw out a last-minute Hail Mary $12 million offer to somebody. Like, and it would not surprise me if that ended up being the case. So with LSU, it feels like this is going to happen really soon. And Lord knows they've had a head start on that, but you have to wait for the end of the regular season. Maybe that plays out if Baylor isn't able to get into the Big 12 championship and it's Dave Aranda or something like that. I don't know when exactly this is going to be announced. It feels like it's very soon, and it does kind of feel like it's Napier, it's Aranda, and then I'm blanking on the third one that he had in there. But it was 3 candidates that
I
he
can't
said
remember who
it
it was either. I can't remember who the third one was.
Yeah, I didn't even see that story yesterday, but it does seem like it's going to be the right time for Billy Napier, right?
I would think so. And he's been very picky about what he wants to do, where he feels like he could go and win. And look, this is a guy who they're gonna talk about. All right, it's a Saban disciple, and they're gonna compare him to all Saban disciples in the past. I'm gonna look at this situation and say this is a guy who has built a winner in a place that is not easy to win at, and that is a guy who you want to see what he can do with more talent, and that's kind of the great unknown. And it's different as we talk about Mark Stoops. Maybe Mark Stoops was the other guy in that 3. That could have been the case.
It was Matt Campbell. It was Matt Campbell.
Oh, Matt Campbell. That's right. Okay. So same vein though, right? We've seen what these guys can do with 3-star recruits. We've seen how they can elevate their programs. We truly don't know what it's going to look like when they get the 4- and 5-star recruits. And that was the question with Dan Mullen coming from Mississippi State to that Florida job, where he had only recruited 1 4-star recruit from the state of Florida during his entire time while he was at Mississippi State. It was Cord Sandberg, who went on to play baseball and eventually ended up at Auburn. But this is a question that we're going to have about these guys, and it feels like we're going to have that about Billy Napier. But I love the mindset, and I love that he's been picky, and I think that probably now feels like his time to be able to capitalize on one of these opportunities.
So in the Power 5, I mean, is there any other coaches we believe will lose their jobs? Or are we done all in season here?
I would never say never, because that Miami situation feels real fluid. New athletic director. And I know they already have their bowl clinched, but come on, let's be honest here. If you're going to play a bowl game in Shreveport, is that really going to save your job? I don't know. Like, I think that this is something that could continue to play out. I know a lot of Miami fans have thrown out the idea of Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin to Miami makes a lick of sense, but I might be a little bit on an island with that one because I don't think it's 2001 anymore. But I think that we could see maybe a couple more, and it just kind of depends, right? Like, I think that we've already seen this play out across college football, where it does kind of feel like the big question. I think we're done in the SEC. I'll say that, but I could definitely see a place like Miami. Off the top of my head, though, I think because Nebraska's safe. I don't necessarily think we see anything in the Big Ten, but nobody's really talking about. There's one here, and Georgia Tech is the interesting one. Like, Jeff Collins had low expectations. You knew he was going to overturn the offense there, but like when they lose to Georgia and they're going to get spanked by Georgia, it'll be his 3rd consecutive 3-win season. Like 9-25 there. That's the one that I'm kind of like eyebrow raised. I know they want to give him time, but I would say that we're going to see at least one more Power 5 firing, maybe 2.
Especially when the ACC is down. This is where you have to show improvement, right? These aren't the Goliaths, other than Clemson, who's having a little bit of an off year, a little bit. But the Giants aren't there. Miami's not there. Florida State's not back yet. Virginia Tech's not back yet, and you can't take advantage of it like Jeff Collins. That's a good point. One other thing. Go ahead, Eli.
Well, you mentioned Lane Kiffin. Do you believe Lane Kiffin will be coaching at Ole Miss next year?
My gut says yes. But that doesn't mean that LSU and Florida shouldn't put on the full court press. They should. They absolutely should. Lane looks like he's having a great time. I mean, Lane looks like he is living his best life. And everybody thought that he was going to be like one and done at FAU, and I think it surprised some people that he stayed for 3 full years. And I think he wants to do this differently. Everybody keeps saying, he's automatically going to bolt. He's done it once before. Lane's going to Lane. He's going to do it again. And I'm like, I'm looking at the situation at Ole Miss. Everybody keeps saying what their ceiling is. Dude is in year 2, and he's a win away from having their best regular season win total ever.
That's incredible.
And that's with a lot of Matt Luke's players. So what's to say that Lane can't turn Ole Miss into a consistent top 10 team, considering what he's been able to do? So I'm not necessarily sold that he's going to be gone at season end.
Did he have a concrete offer while at Florida Atlantic before the Ole Miss offer?
Did he have a concrete offer?
Yeah, you said he stayed there 3 years. Did he have a good offer that he said no to, or did he not have an offer? My point is, maybe he stayed there because he didn't have an offer.
He might not have had an offer, but he had to have interest. Like when that Miami job opened up, how could Miami not have contacted Lane Kiffin? I mean, right? Like I would assume that they did at that time, and they at least made a play for him, because that would have been after his second season there that they had that opening, and they ultimately went with Manny Diaz. But he had that 5-win season in year 2 where just they lost a ton of close games that year, and then he was really good in year 1 and year 3. So it's possible. You're right. But I still tend to think that he's doing this a little bit differently, and he's trying to get rid of that reputation that he had a decade ago.
All right, the Timing of the Year award goes to Michigan State. I'm not saying that Mel Tucker is not a good coach, because he's a solid coach. I don't think he's a $10 million a year coach. I think they're jumping the gun, and then they go out there and get absolutely destroyed by one of their rivals. So where do we stand with that thing? Has it already been offered? Has he signed? What's going on?
Hasn't signed anything yet. I mean, everybody was joking that he should sign at halftime of that game. They're not wrong. I mean, I'd be surprised if he doesn't sign that offer. I don't know what exactly the holdup is, maybe with some of the offset language in the contract or something like that. But
I don't care if it's in Chinese. He better sign that damn thing.
Right? Like, I'm old enough to remember when 10 years, $75 million from Jimbo Fisher was a crazy thing. Here we are, $20 million on top of that, just a few years later. But yeah, I agree with you. He should sign it. And I applaud Michigan State for doing something like this, because if you think you have your guy, go out and get him. Don't quabble over $2 million a year. If you have the booster support, which they now do, to be able to make that work, don't let somebody else take your guy. Try and build something for the future. Try and sustain some success in the toughest division, the second toughest division in all of college football, and try and do it with somebody who, quite frankly, has turned this roster upside down with 41 new players on that team. They need to be able to spend more on recruiting. They're going to try and start doing that. They can't expect the transfer portal to do it every single year and find a Kenneth Walker, but they have a formula that they really like there, and I don't necessarily hate the move, because it's not coming out of the school's paycheck. It's coming out of boosters. It's coming out of their pocket. Let them pay for it. If they feel like that's their guy, then go out and get him.
All right, one other thing before we let you go. Tonight will be the selection committee's latest top 25. What do you expect to see?
I think the big question I have is, how far does Ohio State move up? I think they only move up to 3, and I think they keep Bama at 2, because Arkansas is respected. Arkansas is a top 25 team. I don't think the selection committee is looking at the same stat that I am, which is Alabama has been in a one-score game in the fourth quarter in 5 of their 7 SEC games. I don't think they care about that, quite frankly. And I think even though Ohio State had probably the biggest statement game of any of the contenders that we've seen this year, and I was certainly impressed because I've been poo-pooing their resume, I think they only move up to 3 because they don't have to, right? Like this thing is still going to play out. If they move them up to 3, they don't have to answer those questions about Ohio State, Bama. If I'm a Bama fan, I would love to be able to lock in on that 2 spot, just to hold out hope that there could be a two-loss path to the playoff, even though I don't necessarily think it's there without the Georgia win. But I think that's the big question I have, and I think Cincinnati moves to number 4. I think for the first time ever, we see a group of 5 team get a top 4 ranking at some point during the playoff poll. So I think those are going to be the big questions that we have about tonight.
He's the senior national columnist for Saturday Down South and Saturday Tradition. You can follow him on Twitter at CJ O'Gara. Catch him every Tuesday right here on Sports 56 Mornings. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your lovely wife. And do you have a child yet, Connor? You're childless right now.
I am childless, but thank you for you to wishing that to my future child. I will pass that along.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if you just had a baby or not. You just got married recently, so I guess it's not that quick. But listen, have a happy Thanksgiving. Enjoy all the games this week. A lot to talk about next week. Thank you, my friend.
Excellent. Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Take care.
This hour of our program brought to you each and every day by the folks at Action 24/7, and they are the only sports book in the state of Tennessee that is owned and operated by Tennesseans. And they've got some great things going on this holiday week. Tonight, for instance, they're giving you a chance with they like to do these matchups in the NBA. And tonight, you got the Mavericks and the Clippers. And if you bet $50 on the game, on the spread, Whichever team you bet on, you'll get $2 in free bets for every point your team's star player scores. So it's Luka and Paul George. You're going to get $2 in free bets for every point they score, depending on which team you bet on, if you make a $50 bet on the spread of the game. Also, we got Gonzaga UCLA coming up, college basketball. Well, bet $25 on the spread for that game, and they're going to give you a $15 free bet to use on another college basketball game. Not bottom line, just going to get a $15 free bet if you bet $25 on the Gonzaga UCLA game. They love giving out free bets. They love giving out free money, and especially for you new users. When you sign up and make your first deposit, use promo code WHBQ100. They'll match that first deposit 100% up to $400. So plenty of opportunity to get some free money, get some free bets with the folks at Action 24/7. Go to the website, action247.com, download the app to your phone, and start betting local here in the state of Tennessee with Action 24/7.
All right, Cody's getting his times mixed up. So what we're going to do is we're going to come back from the quick timeout. We're going to get Cody on for a few minutes. He's on standby. We'll talk to Cody when we return. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ. Listen to us daily on 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world at sports56whbq.com or on the Sports 56 app.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know. Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass. Annie up, it's a party. Join us December 4th and 5th from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. at the new WinBet Sports Bar inside FedEx Forum. To sweeten the deal, they're giving away free pretzel bites with any purchase during the weekend only. Visit FedExForum.com/WinBet Sports Bar for more.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Remember the last time your family visited the forest? It's a place of wonder and imagination for the whole family, where stories come to life. And it's closer than you think. Ready to plan your next visit? Make the forest part of your story today at a local park near you, or find one at discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. First hour of the program. We've been able to move around Cody. He's got a obviously busy schedule with the Tigers. They are in New York City. So let's get to our good buddy, Cody Topper.
It's time to talk Memphis Tigers basketball. Joining Greg and Eli is Tigers assistant coach Cody Toppers. Now, here's Coach Toppers with Greg and Eli.
Cody Topper joins us every week to talk Tigers basketball. You can follow him on Twitter at Top33. The Tigers in New York City. Actually, they'll play in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center as Cody joins us now. They'll be in action tomorrow against Virginia Tech. Then they'll play Friday, either Iowa State or Xavier. And Cody, I know it's been pretty crazy for you guys as far as traveling in yesterday to New York City. How are you this morning?
Oh yeah, no, I'm doing great. Got a great view here of the bustling city of New York. We had ourselves a heck of a travel day. We were delayed by about 4 hours.
Oh.
We arrived. We went right to dinner. Dinner took a while, to say the least. So about half of us that finished eating got on the first bus, and this is a family trip, so we all have our families here. Got on the first bus to head back. That bus broke down at 42nd and Lexington. We were there for about an hour and a half. Then they had to send another bus to get us. So those of us that were on that bus had to unload all the baggages because we hadn't been to the hotel yet from underneath that bus. Set them on the side of the road at 42nd and Lexington. People thought we were either the biggest group of homeless people or they pretty sure they couldn't figure out what was going on. We waited for the next bus. You know, my 6 and 4-year-olds were violating bedtime. But we finally got to the hotel, and so we're excited about a great day here with a good opportunity to get better in practice and game prep for a really good Virginia Tech team.
My goodness! So you need like that one college football team that had like a diesel mechanic on the team that they could fix they could have fixed that bus for you and got you on the road. That's a rough day.
Rasheed Wallace was out back. They opened it up. He looked at the engine. You know, it was overheated. He was taking a look. I mean. Listen, I definitely trust Rasheed when it comes to mechanic items there. But me, myself, that is not my forte, so I'll stick to the numbers.
Well, better the bus overheating than the team overheating. I know you got a challenge the other night in your battle against Western Kentucky, and the turnovers continue to rear its ugly head. It hasn't cost you yet, but something that certainly is alarming. But as far as the team overall going into this game, and this is a tough team, as you know, Virginia Tech, how do you feel you guys are through 4 games? How do you feel you're playing going into this event?
Well, I think that Western Kentucky game, Coach Brown used the term, trap game, right? Because you could very easily look to New York and overlook a very serious opponent. Those that were on our team last year understood that we probably did the same thing right in South Dakota. We were looking towards West Virginia and missed handling that business with Western Kentucky. So, I know we were very excited to get that win. The best part about it was they prepared us for switching defenses. Stansbury did a good job. I mean, he threw in 1-3-1, spread out 2-3, man-to-man, and then mixed it up so regularly that it kind of threw our guys off, even though we had, reviewed that in practice. And, you mentioned the turnovers. We're going to have to get that figured out. A lot of them, again, we know there's no explanation for other than just being mindful when you have the basketball and understand how great a value it has. And when you talk about overheating, I wasn't too worried about the players, but I was worried about Coach Brown's blood pressure rising. So, we're doing our best in practice to help the guys understand the value of the basketball and, how much they have to take care of that thing, but still continue to play fast, because we want to be fast. But we don't want to do is pump possessions into a ball game by just giveaways. And so, we're going to have to balance that line, especially against a team that executes.
What about this Virginia Tech team? You look at the stats, there's not like one player that really stands out. They're very balanced as far as scoring is concerned. They've got some really good numbers, but the schedule hasn't been that great to this point. What do you see from Virginia Tech?
Well, I think, the big thing that stands out from an actual personnel standpoint, you just got to weather the storm, and that's the kid Storm Murphy, right? I mean, he looks like we've got a GA on our team here named Cody Kelly who played point guard for Wyoming, right? And he looks just like him. He's about 5'10", blonde hair, looks like he's just going to be the nicest kid, and then he's just a killer on the court. So he's their primary ball handler. He's really the head of the snake over there. But what they do is they have a lot of really good shooters, and we've got an excellent big man in Alma. And style-wise, it's kind of a contrast of styles. They're a slow-down team. They're not a high offensive rebounding team. They only really crash 2 guys. And this is a team that really executes. And because they're a jump shooting team, they're not getting to the rim very much. They don't get to the free throw line that much, right? They're running off pin down screens, wide pin downs, narrow pin downs, all types of different staggers and double staggers. And, they're looking to come off screens to shoot, and that's what they've got. They've got the personnel to knock down shots coming off screens. And so it's going to be up to us to neutralize that and then make them uncomfortable by pushing the pace, getting the ball out of Storm Murphy's hands. They're really a team that doesn't have multiple ball handlers that can handle pressure. And so, it's going to be a very interesting contrast of styles.
All right. They have a primary ball handler. You guys don't have a primary ball handler. It hasn't been a problem, but Penny talked about after the game against Western Kentucky limiting his ball handlers because he's going to limit his substitutions. Is that going to be an issue without a primary ball handler, at least not right now? Because last game you had Penny after the game saying that he should have used Earl Timberlake, who was having a good game down the stretch. Instead, he went with his security blanket, Alex Lomax, who did some good things but also turned it over 6 times. So where do we stand as far as that's concerned?
Yeah, I think basketball, like life, are not equal opportunity, right? And sometimes when you are emphasizing playing fast, guys might misunderstand that, their role could be to, push and try to thread the needle on that one pass over the top. But the reality of it is whoever is going to be our primary ball handler has to understand time, score, last 3 possessions on offense, last 3 possessions on defense, and really understand where the momentum's at before you decide to swing for the fences, right? You can't just walk up into the batter's box and try to hit home runs every single time. And I think that's what we have at this particular point in time, because we do want to be a fast-paced team, and right now we are the fastest-paced team in the country. However, at least 5 or 6 times a game, we're pumping a quick possession in with a possession that we held, for about 3 or 4 seconds before turning it over on a home run pass. So, coach has just been emphasizing roles, really. Who are the guys that we want to have ball in their hands? Because when you look at a game like the Purdue-Villanova game, there are 14 turnovers total between the 2 teams. I think Villanova had 4 turnovers for the entire game.
Wow.
But, again, there were only really 2 guys that handled the basketball, and those 2 guys were the ones, who were making the majority of those decisions, right? So for us, I think we have a style that Coach wants to play. He wants to play aggressive on defense. He wants to be disruptive. He wants to play fast. But, again, he's starting to really carve out and cement those roles in terms of, what are you allowed to do on either side of the ball, from a personnel standpoint.
Are you staying in Manhattan or in Brooklyn?
We are in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Bridge Marriott right here, although we did have dinner last night at the Hard Rock in Manhattan. We had a tour guide on the bus. I'll tell you a funny story. My daughter, Kinsley, 6 years old, the tour guy was giving us a little background on, himself and his dog or something like that. And she says, "Excuse me, sir, with all due respect, we really enjoy hearing about you, but we'd like to hear more facts about the city." So she's really into the whole vibe out here.
That's the same hotel you stayed in a couple of years ago when you guys had a good time over there, right?
It is, exactly. Yep, we stayed here when we played the one-off game against North Carolina State, which was great. Great, environment for our guys. For those that were on that team this year, obviously it's a familiar environment, and Barclays will be as well. It's a beautiful venue, so I always enjoy going there and having a basketball game.
Well, the reason I ask is because I'm happy you're in Brooklyn. In case, the bus were to break down, you're closer to the Barclays than you would be if it broke down in Manhattan. Hopefully no more travel issues. Cody, I know you're busy as heck. We appreciate you carving out some time for us. Best of luck. It's going to be a lot of fun and a very important part of the season, even though it's early, with the Tigers and Virginia Tech starting tomorrow, and then Friday they'll take on either Iowa State or Xavier. Thank you, my friend. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Happy Thanksgiving to you guys and everybody out there listening in Memphis. Appreciate you guys.
Thanks, Cody.
Thanks, Cody. Yeah, it's walkable because I walked from there to the arena.
Oh, good. No travel issues now.
It's a few blocks. I mean, it's not. They won't walk it, obviously, but it is very much walkable. I walked it with radio equipment when I was there because I was there with Ole Miss that week that they played there when they were playing NC State. Moving can be a stressful time, but the folks at Black Tie Moving are there to help you during the process. They want to make sure it's as easy as it could possibly be on you. They want to make sure your belongings get where they are going safely and securely. And that's exactly what they do at Black Tie Moving. All you got to do is give them a call. 901-316-6196, or you can go to their website. That is blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. You can get a lot of information about them on the website. You can see all the many 5-star reviews that they've got on there as well. They've got an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Then talk to them, sit down with them, come up with a plan that fits your needs, fits your budget, and have the experts on your side to make sure your move goes extremely well. You get your own moving concierge. It's available 24/7 to answer any questions that you have during the process. Whether you're moving across town, whether you're moving across country, whether it's home, office, whatever it is, the folks at Black Tie Moving will make sure you are satisfied and there are no problems along the way. Again, give them a call, 901-316-6196, or go to blacktiemoving.com/Memphis. Get the experts on your side from Black Tie Moving.
Humdinger's Trivia is next when we return to Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new, latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Case IH is a proud supporter of the Mississippi Farm Bureau, and thanks to a membership benefits partnership, Mississippi Farm Bureau members receive a discount of up to $500 on every qualifying Case IH tractor and piece of equipment you purchase. This discount may be used with other promotions, rebates, or offers. So join Mid-South Ag Equipment and the Mississippi Farm Bureau and pocket up to $500 in savings. Call Mid-South Ag at 662-890-3141 to get your discount today.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. When was the last time you had your heating system cleaned? How about a safety inspection? Right now, Conway Service is offering our 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your heating system for only $69. That's right, for only $69, we'll come out and perform our 16-point Energy Saving Super Tune-Up on your heating system. Plus, we'll also include a complete safety inspection with our state-of-the-art camera system, making sure your heating system is safe to operate this winter. Plus, we'll include a carbon monoxide test on your heating system, all for only $69. You can have the peace of mind knowing your heating system is safe and ready for those cold winter nights. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And call this week and ask for the early bird special, and we'll perform your heating system tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Sports 56 traffic.
Right now, we're working an accident on 2nd Street at Exchange Avenue. That's 2nd Street at Exchange Avenue. And then over in, don't know exactly where this location is, but we're working an accident on Hickory With Road. That's Hickory With Road near I-40. Working an accident there as well. Still also working an accident on Shelby Drive at Tuggle Road, so just keep that in mind. Also road construction in that area as well. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Welcome back, everybody. 8:09 the time. Hour number 2 here on Sports 56 Mornings. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 edition of the program from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40. Currently 35 degrees under sunshine. It will get up to about 55 today. Maybe a tad higher, but not reaching 60 or anything like that. But sunshine will prevail throughout the day. We're going to tell you about James Gaddis Jewelers, our second hour sponsor, in just a few moments. We got Humdinger's Trivia coming up as well. I wish I knew this when Cody joined us, but there is a story from The Athletic by Seth Davis. It's entitled The 40 Under 40 List of Rising Stars in College Hoops, and Cody Toppert is among those on that list. So congratulations to Cody, who just joined us here on the program.
It's time for Humdinger's Trivia. It's your opportunity to win a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. And, of course, with that gift certificate, you can enjoy some great food any day. But especially on Tuesdays, you can get a whole bunch of tacos for that $25. Because on Tuesdays, Taco Tuesday, $2 chicken and fish tacos all day long. That's each and every Tuesday that they do that at Humdingers. On Fridays, they've got their crispy fish and chips for just $8.99. That's all day, each and every Friday. But every day, great items on the menu, from all the different grilled fish options to the Humdinger's shrimp and the great chicken and salads and sandwiches. It's all absolutely fantastic. And when the family's in town for this holiday season, you want to take them out for a nice meal, very healthy, very inexpensive, and absolutely delicious. Take them over to Humdinger's at Poplar and Massey, where, again, today is Taco Tuesday with those $2 chicken and fish tacos all day long. You could go to humdingersrestaurant.com, by the way, and check out the entire menu on the website. If you can answer today's trivia question correctly and be the first to do so, you will get a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. You can answer via the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. You text in your answer, and if you're the first right answer, you get the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. Here is the question for today. Of course, coming up Thursday, Thanksgiving Day, we will have our NFL triple header. It'll be the Bears at the Lions, the Raiders at the Cowboys, and then the Bills at the Saints will be the third game of the day. Here is the question to know. What is the only NFL team that has never played on Thanksgiving Day? There's only one. What NFL team has never played on Thanksgiving Day? 901-360-8255. Text in your answer, and the first correct answer will get the $25 gift certificate to Humdingers. Which NFL team is the only to never play a Thanksgiving Day game?
Okay, I have a guess at that one. May or may not be right, but I think I'm on the right track. Speaking of NFL football, Monday Night Football last night to wrap up Week 11. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers took care of business. They beat the New York Giants 30-10. So finally, order restored after what has been the last couple of weeks in the NFL. Last 3 weeks have been wild and wacky, as they say. A lot of surprises. Who would have thunk it that the Texans would have went into Nashville and beat the Titans? And a couple weeks ago, obviously, the Bills losing to the Jags.
The Titans are having the weirdest season in history.
They are, aren't they?
If they play a good team, they win every time. If they play a terrible team, they lose.
They've lost to the Jets and the Texans.
Like that's.
Who was their other loss?
Well, they started the year with the loss to Arizona.
Okay, well, Arizona, yeah. But at that point, we didn't know how good Arizona was going to be. We thought they'd be okay, and they turned out to be really good. But Tampa Bay last night, restoring order 30-10, and the same game parlay. I think I gave out. I can't remember if I gave out Daniel Jones scoring a touchdown, but I know I said Daniel Jones throwing a pick, Tom Brady 2 touchdown passes, and I did an alternate line to Tampa Bay -9. They end up winning by 20. But I had a 6-leg parlay myself, and I was 1 reception by Evan Ingram short of that. And I'm so mad. Daniel Jones, who I knew was going to struggle a bit, in the fourth quarter, the Patriots, I was going to say because of Tom Brady, the Buccaneers were relentless. They never gave up defensively. They have a big old lead, and you thought it would be like maybe a cush for Jones to sling it around and get another touchdown. All I needed was another reception, but they kept the pressure on him, and they were getting to him. I don't know. Maybe it was more on the Giants' offensive line just giving up in that game. But Tampa Bay wins 30-10, and I come up short, but at least I got my money back because I hit 5 of the 6 legs. But Daniel Jones, 23 of 38, $167, a touchdown, 2 picks. You know, there are games I look at this guy and I go, okay, he's an athlete. I like him. I can see the future with the Giants, with Jones as their quarterback. And then there's other times I go, I'm not so sure. Brady, the ageless wonder, 30 of 46, 307, 2 touchdowns. He had a pick that was on a deflection when Mike Evans popped right out of Mike Evans' hand. So he was pretty darn good last night. And here come the Buccaneers. So I think over Week 11, Eli, from Thursday night all the way through last night, we've seen the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, if anybody thought for a second that they weren't a player, and the Kansas City Chiefs with the win over your Cowboys come back to what we all expected. Those two to be extremely involved in what should be postseason and possibly runs towards the Super Bowl. I'm not saying they're getting there, but for a while there, we looked at Tampa Bay as being vulnerable, and they're still vulnerable, and Kansas City being a mess, especially defensively. Well, they fixed the defense, it seems like, the last couple of weeks. And Mahomes, although he didn't have a great game against the Cowboys, did enough. So here come the Chiefs, here come the Buccaneers, as we thought they would be.
Yeah, the Bucs having all of the weapons in action last night. And you
except Antonio Brown.
Yeah, but I mean, the main, you look at Evans, 6 catches, Gronkowski, 6 catches, Godwin, 6 catches. Both running backs got involved. They've got, that's a team. Anytime you got Tom Brady at the quarterback, I'm not going to doubt the ability to, once you get to the postseason, be ready to go. He'll make sure of that. So yeah, I certainly think the Tampa Bay is every bit the contender still, and has a very good chance to win it all. And yeah, the Chiefs, that was a weird, sloppy, not any way I expected that Cowboys-Chiefs game to go at all. I would never have expected that to be that low scoring like it was. I thought there was going to be points all over the place. The offense looked really good the week prior. Didn't look great against the Cowboys. still a little sloppy there. But, yeah, if they have figured the defense out, then certainly the Chiefs are every bit the contender.
Yeah, back to the Cowboys game itself, I thought it was going to be a high-scoring game like you thought, like everybody else thought. And I was really high on the Cowboys to win that game, especially with the Chiefs' defense struggling the way it has all season long. And Dak, I hate to say it because I love Dak. He made him look good. I mean, the first pass, the overthrow was it Gallup that he had wide open?
Yes, I believe so.
That was 6 right off the bat, and I think it set the tone. And he was a little gun-shy in that game. They hit him a few times. It just wasn't the Dak I'm used to seeing, and the Cowboys had a lot of guys out, and Zach made that point yesterday, and it was a good point. They had a lot of guys out, but I just thought the Chiefs' defense has been struggling. Dallas still has enough weapons, and then, of course, CeeDee Lamb gets hurt in the game. They already didn't have Cooper. I mean, even Zeke got a little banged up early and then came back. But they made the Chiefs' defense, and some of the credit obviously goes to Kansas City. They made the Chiefs' defense look like a formidable defense, and we know they've struggled for the most part. So, really nice win for the Chiefs. The Bucs took care of business last night, and again, as I said, order is restored.
Yeah, and it's going to be. I would think that there's probably a pretty good chance Lamb's going to miss the game on Thursday, with it being the short week, and Cooper definitely going to miss. So. It's going to be difficult for the Cowboys on Thursday if they're without both Lamb and Cooper against the Raiders.
USFL 2.0, the United States Football League. We remember it well. I know I wasn't here for it in Memphis, and I wasn't. I was in New Jersey. I might have already been in Maryland with the New Jersey Generals and Herschel Walker and all that good stuff. But I know here in Memphis, they had a lot of success with their USFL team, the Showboats, and the USFL is returning this spring, but the Showboats are not returning. There is going to be 8 teams, and I'm not sure if they're going to add, if they have success in the future. This is going to be run by Fox, so they have the financial backing that is solid as opposed to the Alliance of American Football. You're going to get the return of the Michigan Panthers, the aforementioned New Jersey Generals, the Philadelphia Stars, the Houston Gamblers, the New Orleans Breakers, the Tampa Bay Bandits, the Birmingham Stallions, and the Pittsburgh Maulers. The league, at least for the first year, I'm not sure what the game plan is for the future, but this first year, spring of 2022, they're all going to be played. All the games are going to be played in Birmingham. So I would assume that the teams still will open up shop in their respective cities, practice all week, then fly to Birmingham, play the games. I don't think all 8 teams are going to be located down at Birmingham, right? That wouldn't make any sense. Would they have the room for them to do that?
I wouldn't think they're going to do that, but I'm not sure what the exact plan is.
Yeah, why even have a city next to its nickname if they're not going to be in the city? So I assume they're going to be in the city. That's where they will, again, have their offices and their practice, I would imagine. And then they would go to Birmingham this first year, and that's where all the games are going to be played. But again, I think they will go back to normal hosting games, away games, things of that nature in 2023 if there's success in 2022. But I'm not 100% certain about that. But Memphis, I'm shocked is not getting a team because Memphis gets every sport that's not a major sport other than the NBA.
Well, they've had a lot of these offshoot football leagues.
Football, soccer, we get the Memphis Americans, indoor soccer. They are starting up on December 26th down at South Haven, obviously.
How many teams from the original USFL are not part of this other than Memphis?
I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't know how many were in the league. We'll have to look that up. Zach, can you look up the USFL, how many teams they had? USFL lasted how long? 2 years? 3 years? It wasn't just a one-year deal. I know that, right?
I don't remember how many years it was before the whole
then the NFL said
thing happened with the.
They did a mafioso move on him.
Get Steve Earhart. He'll tell you all.
Oh, Steve will tell you.
There are 18.
There were 18 teams
in the USFL.
Wow, 18. That's more than I thought.
In one single season. How long did it last? USFL.
I don't have that one. Let me.
18 teams. So this is a third of the teams. No, it's a little bit more than a third. It's 8 of 18. 8 of 18. So, do I remember them all? I remember every single one of these teams with the exception of the Pittsburgh Maulers. I don't remember the Pittsburgh Maulers at all. And if I'm not mistaken, now sometimes I get the World Football League and the USFL mixed up. The World Football League was the early 70s when I was a youngster. The USFL, I was already in the broadcasting business in the 80s. But the Michigan Panthers, that was Anthony Carter, is that right? Anthony Carter, Bobby Hebert, I'm thinking, the Generals with Herschel. The Philadelphia Stars, did they not move to Baltimore, become the Baltimore Stars, or was it Baltimore moving to Philly? The Houston Gamblers, that was Jim Kelly, right?
It was 3 seasons, 83 through 85.
Okay, I thought it was 3. I thought it was 3. The New Orleans Breakers, I think they started somewhere else. I think they may have been in Boston. Tampa Bay Bandits, the Birmingham Stallions. Yeah, I remember 7 of these 8. I do not remember the Pittsburgh Maulers.
They're, let's see here. Pittsburgh played the 80. They only played 1 season.
Okay, that's probably why I don't remember them. The Showboats played how many years of the 3? 2?
They played 2 of them.
Okay.
They didn't play the 83 season.
And, of course, Reggie White, that's the big name.
Houston, Jacksonville, Memphis, Oklahoma, Pittsburgh, and San Antonio all came in after the 83 season.
Okay.
For the 84 season.
But the 83 season was the original season, and
Yes.
so I was in college. So in 83, I was still in college, so I haven't started my career. 85, I started my broadcast career, which was their final year. So how many teams? Was it 18 that first year?
No, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12.
So 12. And so these 8 right here are originals? Or did you just say Pittsburgh wasn't in the first
Pittsburgh
year?
was not original.
Okay.
And neither was Houston.
Neither was Houston.
The originals were the Arizona Wranglers, which later became the Arizona Outlaws for the last season. Birmingham, which was there the entire 3 years. Boston, which became New Orleans.
Hey, I was right.
Which became Portland. That team played in 3 different cities in the 3 seasons.
Oh, wow. I didn't know they became Portland after that.
The Chicago Blitz.
I remember them.
Which they lasted 2 seasons. They did not play the 3rd season. The Denver Gold, which lasted all 3 years. The Los Angeles Express, which lasted all 3 years.
That was Steve Young.
The Michigan Panthers, which lasted 2 years. The New Jersey Generals, which was all 3 years. The Oakland Invaders, which was all 3 years. Philadelphia/Baltimore. Philadelphia the first 2 years, Baltimore the 3rd year. Then Tampa Bay Bandits was all 3 years. And the Washington Federals, which became the Orlando Renegades for the 3rd season.
Yeah, I think
that was the original teams.
Yeah, I think I remember the Washington Federals. I don't remember the Orlando team that moved from Washington. I don't remember that at all.
Raider Corey texts in, says, "Good morning, fellas. We'll be heading to Dallas in the morning. We'll be in attendance to watch my Raiders play the Cowboys.
Nice.
This is the first time in a while I feel like we have no shot, even without Cooper and Lamb. The team has not recovered from all the distractions the last few weeks, and it's understandable. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday."
You too, Corey. Have a fun trip, and he's honest if anything, right?
Well,
and I think he's accurate.
I can understand that because I completely understand the Raiders. Like, there was just no way you can go through what they've gone through and expect to come out of that and be playing well, and they have struggled. But I will say, I mean, if there's no CeeDee Lamb and no Amari Cooper, that's a lot of trouble for that Cowboys offense.
Do you happen to know the success rate on Thanksgiving for the Cowboys? How many games they've won on Turkey Day?
It's a very good record. I don't know the exact record. Them and the Lions both have a good record. I could probably find it, but we do have a right answer, by the way, in our Humdingers trivia. Speaking of that, we have a number of right answers, but one came in before any of the other correct answers.
Can I guess? And I'm probably going to be wrong, and I didn't look it up. I'm going to take a guess at this, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Sure.
Patriots?
No. I mean, it's a pretty obvious idea. Like, I mean, as much as it could be, it's a newer team, and they're not very good, so why would they ever put them on Thanksgiving Day for the most part?
I just thought for some reason, maybe it's the the HBO Hard Knock show that the Patriots have never been on. There's something that the Patriots have never been involved in.
I think the Patriots actually might have played on Thanksgiving. I think they played here recently.
Yeah,
really?
No, yeah, that was Thanksgiving Day, the butt fumble against the Jets.
With Mark Sanchez?
Yeah.
That was on Thanksgiving Day?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. How about that?
The correct answer, which many folks got, is the Jacksonville Jaguars. They are the only NFL team that has never played a Thanksgiving Day game. Maybe if they put a Thanksgiving Day in London day game in London, then Jaguars could play in one because they like to put them over there since they are the home team of London.
They don't celebrate it.
The correct answer, I'm going to make sure here. I believe one was before the others. Yes, there is one definite correct answer that came in before all of the others. So we will be notifying the winner how you will get your prize, a $25 gift certificate to Humdingers.
John hits us up on Facebook, wants to know if I've said the topic for tomorrow yet. I have not. I will say it right now, and it's going to be a pretty obvious one. Your 5 favorite Thanksgiving items, food items. So, and I say that because you can consider turkey. It's not just side dishes. So you can consider turkey, or you can consider ham, or whatever else you eat during Thanksgiving, along with all those sides and all those desserts. But separate them, your 5 favorite Thanksgiving food items. That will be tomorrow's topic for 5 favorite things.
By the way, the Cowboys are 31-21-1 all time.
31-21-1. Do you know the line for tomorrow off the top of your head, or for Thursday, rather?
I believe they're a small favorite. They're a 7-point favorite. Cowboys
I got to think that the Cowboys would have been at least a touchdown.
The Lions actually surprised me. The Lions are below 500 on Thanksgiving Day. I thought they were above 500. I know Lions have not been very good, but on Thanksgiving Day I thought they'd perform well. Lions are 37-42-2.
Yeah, I always thought they were like the bet, right? You always took the Lions on Thanksgiving, but
I don't know
in reality,
I don't know what their against the spread record is because they've been an underdog in many of those games because they've always been bad. So, but win just straight up 37-42-2.
James Gaddis Jewelers is the second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Mornings. They won't be open on Thanksgiving, but on Black Friday, woo, baby, everybody's going to be out doing some shopping. And let me suggest James Gaddis Jewelers, if you are looking for some fine jewelry. A lot of people like to get engaged over the holidays. This is the place to go. They are your bridal engagement and anniversary jeweler headquarters. Been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners alike for about a quarter century in that same East Memphis location, which is located at 4900 Poplar, right between Mendenhall and St. Nick, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, so if you need something appraised, that's the guy you want to talk to. Diamondologist. He's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. He has all the credentials. They are full-service jewelers with 2-bench jewelers ready to serve you. All their diamonds are independently graded and certified. They know there's a lot of competition out there, so they make sure they have a price point to suit everyone's budget. Maybe you're not looking for that special diamond ring. Maybe it's a watch you're looking for. They have tons of watches, custom-made jewelry, gemstones, bracelets, necklaces. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry, and they're always adding more to the collection. Go see James and the gang over at James Gaddis Jewelers. Layaway and financing is available. James Gaddis Jewelers for the holidays, for any time, at 4900 Poplar, on the web at gaddisjewelers.com. When we come back, we're going to talk some Tiger football as they get ready for a game on Saturday that can get them bowl eligible. If not, a 5-win season. Plus, college basketball. A lot of action last night. Some action tonight, including 1 versus 2. We will discuss. And if you want to hit us up on the text line, it's the AutoZone text line at 360-8255. AutoZone listener lines available as well if you want to call in. Same number, 901-360-8255. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, this is Anthony Sane. Peter Edmiston and I have moved. Instead of Sports 56 Mornings, you can now join us every afternoon from 1 to 3 p.m. for the all-new Sports 56 Grind Time, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
I'm with Pat Donahue from the Rendezvous Shipping Kitchen. Pat, how are things downtown at the Shipping Kitchen?
Thanks, Brett. Wow, what a year it's been. 2020 threw a lot of changes at us. One of them was our great Memphis customers figured out how to ship our ribs all over the country.
Pat, we know you ship your ribs and shoulder all over the country. What are some of the other popular packages?
One of our most popular packages that's come out in the last year or two has been the barbecue nacho box. Well, our nacho box is an all-Memphis box. It includes our pork shoulder. It includes our friends at Poncho's cheese dip. Also includes Brim's chips, Felicia Suzanne's peppers, a bottle of our barbecue sauce, a bottle of our famous seasoning, some reheating tips, wet naps, cook hats, and you can even throw in a box of Dinstall's Cashew Crunch for the sweet tooth.
And Pat, this ships overnight just like the rest.
Brett, it sure does.
Where do we order this great food?
You can get these boxes by visiting our website. Go to www.hogsfly.com.
In the Alley in Mr. Charlie Virgos' Rendezvous, a family-owned restaurant in downtown Memphis since 1948.
Listen Sundays at 11 a.m. to join Idlewild Presbyterian Church for worship. Idlewild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
Sports 56 traffic.
So we're still working the accident on 2nd Street at Exchange Avenue. That's 2nd Street at Exchange Avenue. And then also accident on Hickory With Road, and it's near I-40. It's Hickory With near I-40. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
35 degrees right now, sunshine. It'll get up to about 55 on this Tuesday here in Memphis in the Mid-South. Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. So yesterday I thought the Tigers had a chance to move to number 9 in the AP poll. That's exactly what happened. They certainly were going to move up to at least number 10, but they're 10 in the coaches. They're 9 in the AP poll as they get ready for the tournament, the NIT tip-off, not to be confused with the postseason NIT tournament, which the Tigers won, and they'll play Virginia Tech tomorrow. Virginia Tech is a very solid team, as Cody Topper talked to us about, and Memphis can't afford to just throw the ball all over the place like they have been doing so far this season. We'll see what happens with the rotation and how they try to solidify that backcourt as far as the ball handlers are concerned. In the meantime, tonight, Eli, you have number 1 Gonzaga and number 2 UCLA.
Yeah, should be fun. Should be a real fun game. Both teams have been really good. Of course, Chet Holmgren's been really good. The outstanding freshman. You got the great experience of UCLA and what they did last year, but pretty much that whole team back. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that matchup. That should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, Drew Timme, certainly a candidate for Player of the Year early for Gonzaga as he's back for another season. Veteran players galore, as you mentioned, but young stars like Holmgren. Both teams played yesterday in tune-ups for today, so it'll be 1 versus 2. Elsewhere in college basketball last night, Houston blew out Butler 70-52. I know it's not a great Butler team, but Butler's always competitive. Houston, they lost a ton to graduation, to the NBA, and they win by 18. And then also from the American Conference, it appears Cincinnati is back. They took out Illinois by 20. Illinois came in 14th ranked. Cincinnati won by 20 after what was really a terrible run under Brannon. It looks like with the new coach, they have a new lease on life with the Bearcats.
Yeah, and they get a big game today against Arkansas. So that's another chance for Cincinnati to make a statement against a ranked Arkansas team. Houston gets Wisconsin today. So the American Conference with a couple of big non-conference games today to try and help out that conference RPI and all that other good stuff that goes with that. And 2 of them with the chance against Power 5 opponents.
Yeah, you mentioned Arkansas, nationally ranked. They knocked off Kansas State yesterday. It wasn't easy, 72-64. And then also in the top 25, another upset other than the Illinois loss, you also had Seton Hall going down to Ohio State. Now, a lot of people would say that's not an upset. Ohio State was ranked, and then they lost, and they are now not ranked. But if you go by rankings, Seton Hall 21st, Ohio State not ranked, and Ohio State won that game 79-76. So a lot of early interesting results in college basketball as teams kind of feeling out the process right now, seeing what they have. A lot of teams have added, whether it be through the transfer portal or transfers themselves as far as new additions to the team, freshmen that are coming in from high school. So it takes a little bit to get going. And for Memphis, obviously, getting it going has been a problem in years under Penny, previous years, for the first 3 years, having some early season hiccups. And that's what you certainly are hoping will not happen this week when they play at the Barclays Center.
This is always a fun week as far as college basketball goes because you get like these days where you got basketball all day long. Like once again today, action will tip off at 10 o'clock this morning. So if you're just a college basketball nut, this is a week for you. You can just sit there and literally for 12, 13 hours a day watch college basketball.
Yeah, it's a great week, but I think it gets overshadowed, unless you're just a college basketball junkie. I think it gets overshadowed because you have Thanksgiving, which is known for the NFL. Around here, we have the Egg Bowl on Thursday. And then you have plenty of college football on Friday and Saturday with the rivalry games, teams trying to become bowl eligible, like in the case of Memphis. And then Sunday's the NFL. So I think sometimes the college basketball matchups, which are great, like you said, kind of get lost a little bit.
Well, college basketball gets lost basically until college football's over. I mean,
right.
It just is what it is.
I agree.
That's why there's a million bowl games, because ESPN understands that college football bowl games do way better ratings-wise than any college basketball game they could put on that time of year. So they would much rather have some terrible bowl game than any really college basketball game to put on, and so that's why they keep coming up with as many bowl games as they possibly can.
Well, speaking of bowl games, the Memphis Tigers hoping to go back to a bowl, and the only way that happens is if they take care of business on Saturday night against the Tulane Green Wave. The Tigers have been to 7 straight bowls, and right now with the way this program has progressed, you certainly don't want to take that step backwards and go bowlless here in a season where it started out very, very promising, and they have gone through a lot of issues, a lot of injuries, tough losses, blown leads. We were talking yesterday about what we thought the turning point of the season was. And, you know, I was talking about the Temple game. Some folks were saying that it was the blown lead against the University of Texas San Antonio. And then you look at UTSA, they're still undefeated. So you think maybe just the better team won in that particular game. But to blow the lead at Temple, those critical fumbles, the fumble by Watkins going in. seemed to change turn the tide. Also in that game, Thomas had a fumble. It was his second straight week with a critical fumble. And at that point, I think that's when Ryan Silverfield sat him down. I think he's lost his confidence. He's also had a couple of concussions. The running game hasn't been there. A lot of that has to do with the offensive line being banged up. So, yes, there are excuses, certainly, that can be made. Now, fans won't buy into excuses. So you don't get this 6th win at 5. Look, Ryan Silverfield's coming back. He's your coach next year. But there is a good chance that there could be some changes with the coaching staff because people will demand changes if you take that step back. Memphis does not want to go back because they have built over the last 7-8 years this football program into being a very sustainable, solid football program.
Yeah, and I saw Ryan Silver talked about the fact that the bowl game is kind of the minimum that should be expected here, and certainly. And if you would have said at the beginning of the year they were going to win the Mississippi State game, and then maybe not be bowl eligible, that would have been impossible. Certainly, there were 5 other wins on this schedule, and if they end up not beating Tulane and they don't get bowl eligible, that will be a really bad year. Really bad year. And the loss to Temple, it's an inexcusable loss.
Right.
Temple, since that game, has not played anybody within 20 points. They've been blown out every week since then. They don't score. They haven't scored over 10 points in a game since then. And the Tigers gave up 34 to them somehow. That game alone, if you end up not being bowl eligible, that's the one you look back on and go, how in the hell did we lose to Temple, who is terrible?
Yeah, they couldn't contain Mathis in that game, which still boggles my mind. When he got outside the pocket, he was able to beat the Tigers with his legs, keep drives going. Memphis's defense, I think, was at the all-time low for the season at that point. And then the last several games, 3-4 games, I think going back to Navy, Memphis has found their way defensively. But offensively, they have struggled. So they haven't really been able to put it all together other than early in the season. So, yes, it is a down season. I think Ryan Silverfield's right. The bare minimum should be a bowl. I thought the bare minimum this year would be 7 wins. Now, if they win over Tulane and win a bowl game, that would be 7. But I wasn't talking postseason. I was talking regular season. By the way, Memphis is currently a 5.5-point favorite. Most books 5.5. Some books have them as a 6-point favorite. They opened up as a 4-point favorite. Tulane's coming in feeling good. They finally broke the losing streak. They blew out South Florida. They got a young, promising quarterback in Pratt. But it's all about the Memphis attitude. Where are they mentally? Are they into this to get to 6, to be able to play another game, to be able to go to a bowl game and the pomp and circumstance that goes with a bowl game, no matter what that game may be? It's a fun time for the players. It's a reward. So I would think, Eli, because we haven't heard one thing which is really, really good about this coaching staff and about these players is we haven't heard about a mutiny, problems in the locker room, issues between the players themselves or the players and the coaches. We haven't heard any of that stuff. They always fight. They fight hard. They fought hard against Houston. Houston's just a much better team at the moment. So hopefully that attitude is the same way this week, even with a holiday coming up and going into Saturday knowing they have to win that football game.
Yeah, I mean, certainly you would think that having a bowl possibility is a big motivating factor.
Incentive, right?
It is a nice reward for players. I mean, that's all the bowls are really, is rewards for players.
Right.
To have a good time, go play an extra game. Obviously, for coaches, they love the extra practices and all of that comes with it. So they certainly want to get to a bowl game as well. Let me correct. I did say Temple did score 14 points in one other game against South Florida.
Since 14.
Since the Memphis game, they have not scored more than 14 points. That's the only game they had scored more than 10. They lost that game by 20. That was the closest game they've played since the Memphis game. The only 2 teams they've scored more points against than Memphis this year were Akron and Wagner.
Ouch.
I mean, every game against a team with a pulse, they've been blown out. Mm-hmm. Other than and somehow they beat Memphis.
Well, folks, a lot of you I know are going to be hitting the road today or tomorrow for the holidays, heading to family and friends around the country. A lot of people will be flying, obviously, as well. But for those who are driving, you want to make sure that your vehicle's in tip-top shape for the roadways, for the highways and byways of this great country of ours. And over at Auto Universe Germantown, they want to make your vehicle ready. 7300 Winchester, just off 385. Full service maintenance with no wait time, and you can get an appointment for any day. Today, tomorrow, big discounts right now for everything from brake service and wheel alignment to replacing wiper blades, rotating tires, checking the battery, even serving the transmission. Call Auto Universe Germantown today. Ask for Robert, 901-751-7300. 901-751-7300. Get your vehicle serviced today, your car, your truck, your SUV. Call Auto Universe. Great deals on oil changes and brake checks. Or ask about the deal on the radiator service. There really is no wait time. So call for an appointment right now. Get it done. Take care of your vehicle before you hit the roads. Professional detailing, by the way, is 20% off now, and you can get paintless dent removal in the collision center. Happy holidays from Auto Universe Germantown. Incredible selection of pre-owned luxury vehicles and full service with no wait time. 7300 Winchester or eautouniverse.com. Again, the phone number to call, 901-751-7300. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
Well, you gotta have an opinion.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Hey, congratulations on the new time slot.
Thanks, and congratulations to you for, let's say, doing commercials for Central Barbecue.
That was very diplomatic.
Hey, doing commercials for Central Barbecue is nothing to sneeze at. You get to tell everyone about the best slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue there is, plus all the other great things at Central Barbecue, like the ribs and the smoked chicken wings and the great bologna sandwich. You get to tell them about those things.
Actually, you just did. You just did the one job I had to do today.
I mean, I didn't mean to.
Fine. You get the new time slot, and you get to tell everyone about Central Barbecue.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you are treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's now time to get serious about Christmas shopping for your special lady. As we celebrate our 36th Christmas at Russell Brothers this year, we have gathered the most stunning collection of beautiful diamonds and gemstones that you can possibly imagine. Exquisitely designed, crafted with the finest workmanship. Our array of rings and bracelets, pendants and earrings will dazzle your lady and will give her the message very clearly how much you care about her. You care enough to give her the best. If you've never been to Russell Brothers, we invite you to join our many, many customers. Come and see what a difference personal attention can make. Drive right up to our front door. Come on in and be a part of that 36th Christmas, and let us show you what value, quality, service, and selection can look like as you select a piece for her that will make you the best Santa Claus ever. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Getaway Sports Bar, the best-kept secret in town, open noon to 1:30 a.m., 7 days a week. Garvin, the owner, created this SEC NFL Dream Bar over 20 years ago. You'll never miss a minute of action. 10 TVs, 5 70-inch TVs for all the big games. Rack them up on 6 pool tables. Coldest beer in town, grab you a pool stick and get you some good bar grub. 100% Angus burgers, big and moist chicken tenders. Daily happy hour Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m. with long neck domestics, $2.25. Getaway Sports Bar, 4632 Winchester.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Got a text on the AutoZone text line. It says the Tigers were hyped up to have a great defense that was much improved and experienced. We saw a good offense, but the line play was weak all year on both sides. Bigger, better linemen are needed. Certainly the defense, we thought year two, Mike McIntyre, a lot of experience back. I mean, you had a senior-laden and super senior-laden defense was expected to be, much improved. And
don't you think it has been the last 3-4 games?
It's gotten better here recently because they've started getting some sacks, they started getting some turnovers. But early in the year, it was really bad. I mean, and that led to the blown leads and to games like the Temple game where you should never give up that many points.
The Arkansas State game where it came down to a Hail Mary at the end.
Yeah, I mean, the defense for the most part was a disappointment. While yes, they have improved here recently in getting some turnovers, getting sacks, that type of stuff. Overall, I would say that it's been a disappointing year from the defense. And nobody, let's say this, nobody expected the kicking game to be the disaster it was going to be.
No, because special teams has always been important for Memphis. They've been very good with special teams. It's enhanced their chances to win, whether it be the kicking game, the return game, and that has just not been the case this year. Gabriel Rogers has been off and on injured, and he was supposed to be the big guy with the explosiveness to take one back. Austin's done some punt returning, but hasn't done a ton of it because he's been hurt a lot and has had to concentrate, obviously, on being the receiver that he is, which is tremendous. But where would they be without Seth Hennigan? They may be a 3-win team without Seth Hennigan. So, yeah, it's quite disappointing. But they can rectify some things this Saturday with a win. If not, it'll be an interesting conversation come Monday here on the show. Coming up in hour number 3, Dr. Adam Walker joins us at 9:05, Memphis Executive Associate AD. He's with the Tigers basketball team in New York City. Again, if you missed our topic for tomorrow's 5 favorite things, your 5 favorite Thanksgiving food items. And again, I'd put turkey or any side dish, ham, all as one item. So go ahead and think about that, get that together for tomorrow's 5 favorite things. All right, couple of things here in our last segment. This blew my mind, Eli, when I saw this, although I am more pro Kirk Cousins than a lot of people are. Kirk Cousins, this is according to Pro Football Network, has 25 career games with at least 300 passing yards and 3 touchdown passes. This surpasses Aaron Rodgers for the second most such games by a quarterback in his first 10 seasons in NFL history. I think the problem is that Cousins has really bad games too, whereas Rodgers and some others at the top of the list don't normally have those bad games. But Cousins has had a really nice career. And I think he gets overshadowed a lot when we bring up Minnesota, we bring up Cousins. He has weapons. They have a lot of weapons in Minnesota, those receivers and obviously Dalvin Cook in the backfield. But Kirk Cousins, pretty interesting numbers. All right, so yesterday we were talking with Barrett Sallee, and I asked him who will be in New York City or wherever it's going to be. There's going to be a Heisman ceremony, but it's not going to be at the normal place, the Touchdown Club or wherever they used to have it. So I'm going to ask you the same thing because on his list, he did not include Matt Corral. And I said that would be an injustice if Matt Corral is not at least at the ceremony. Who do you think will be at the ceremony? What players?
I don't know that we know that yet. I mean, I think there's still a lot to be decided as far as the Heisman goes.
There is.
I mean, I think there's still 5, 6 guys at least probably that could certainly win it. I mean, I do think that Stroud with the game this past week made a heck of a statement.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired of the Ohio State quarterbacks over the last 20 years. They put up unbelievable numbers. I think it's the system. They always have the best receivers in the Big Ten. Remember, it's the Big Ten. They always have the best receivers, probably the first or second best linemen. Maybe Wisconsin has a better consistent set of O-linemen, but Ohio State's is really good. Ohio State always has great running backs. Wisconsin does as well, but I don't know. All those guys, how many Ohio State quarterbacks have played and have put up huge numbers year in, year out? Don't want to take nothing away from the young man. He's having a great year. But I think what Matt Corral has done, Ole Miss is on the doorstep, as Connor O'Gara said, of having their best season ever. Like a regular season, their best regular season ever, their most wins. And a lot of that has to do with the leadership of Matt Corral, who wills his team. He physically goes out there and puts his body on the line every single game, and he has numbers.
See, I think, too, that because it will end up, I think, probably being a very close vote with a lot of different guys, we'll see how many they actually take to the ceremony. Because, I mean, the decision of how many go to the ceremony is based on where kind of the voting break happens.
Right.
We don't know where that big gap's going to be. There could be, it could be very tight throughout because without any clear-cut candidates. I mean, I certainly think Stroud will be there. I think Bryce Young will be there.
Did Kenneth Walker hurt himself with the last performance against Ohio State?
Well, certainly that hurts.
Wasn't just his fault,
I mean, the
obviously.
fact that they've lost a couple of games here like that, I mean, that certainly hurts him. I think he still has a very good chance of at least getting there, though.
Yeah, because I think they're going to put a non-quarterback. They're going to bring a non-quarterback.
But I do think Matt Corral, especially this week, will determine a lot. I mean,
could Will Rogers get in?
If Corral has a big game against Mississippi State, I certainly think I think he will be in that. He'll get enough votes that he'll be in at the ceremony.
I do too. How about a dark horse?
If they get beat and he has a bad game, then I certainly think he could very well be out.
No, I think you're right. But how about a dark horse like Will Rogers, whose numbers are unbelievable? How about if he puts up the huge numbers and they beat Ole Miss? Could he be in the picture, or is it too late?
I don't think people. I think a lot of that people look at the Mike Leach offense like they don't. I don't think he'll get. I don't think he'll have any of that. I don't think he'll get many votes because of that. They'll look at it. Texas, it's Mike Leach, Texas Tech. He did it with every quarterback he's ever had.
That's a good
point. He's just going to put up. He throws 1 million passes. He's going to complete a bunch of them for a bunch of yards. But I think they kind of downplay his quarterbacks a lot.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. Hey, there's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door doesn't open. It's broken. Something's wrong. You have no idea what's wrong. So that's why you call the experts at New Day Overhead Doors. New Day Overhead Doors. They were somebody I went to before they became a sponsor on this show. And I think that's a testament to how good they are. Again, I didn't bring them on as a sponsor and then started to use them. I used them before they came on as a sponsor. They fixed my garage door, in fact, 2 different times for both garage doors, the one side, then the next side. And they took care of it, and they are working perfect, both sides of my garage. Because, again, when you want to get to work and all of a sudden it doesn't open, or you have to bring the kids to school and they're going to be late because of the damn garage door. They can take care of your garage door problems and your garage door opener maintenance needs. They're true professionals. They'll beat their major competitors' prices and get this, often by half the price. Half the price of their major competitors. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. So don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair, or new garage door opener system. Yes, they can put in that whole new system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day Overhead Doors. Ask for John. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Mornings. Hour 3 on the way, right here on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Fall is in the air, and so are Choate's Early Bird Specials. Right now, receive $1,000 off the purchase of a new Carrier gas furnace. Carrier furnaces come with some of the best warranties in the industry, and Choates has been professionally installing them for over 60 years. As a Carrier factory authorized dealer, Choates also offers competitive financing solutions for you and your family. If your heating system is in good shape, make sure you take advantage of Choates' Early Bird Tune-Up Special for $60. This tune-up is an in-depth 20-point inspection to make sure your furnace is ready for the winter season ahead. So call 347-8086 to schedule your early bird special today. And turn to the experts with Choates and let our family serve your family.
Bellyacre's motto is City-Fied Farm Fresh. The goal is simple: provide a fun, unique farm-to-table experience for the whole family. Two great locations, Regalia at 6130 Poplar and in Overton Square at 2102 Trimble Place. Overton Square hours Sunday through Thursday 11A to 9P, Friday and Saturday 11A to 10P. Regalia Sunday through Thursday 10:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and Friday and Saturday 10:30 a.m. to 11 p.m. Signature burgers are made from 100% grass-fed beef. Sandwiches, salads, and the best milkshakes anywhere. The burgers, so good, like the Dare Ya or the Double Dare Ya, and the melt in your mouth. And you have to try the Voodoo Moo Moo. It is the quality brand the Bellyacres team has developed using grass-fed beef with creative homemade toppings in a fun farm setting right here in the city. The goal at Bellyacres, to become even more sustainable as they grow. In Overton Square and in Regalia, the very best quality available in Memphis, burger shakes and smiles at Bellyacres.
The folks at Homer Skelton Hyundai want to say thank you. Thank you, Memphis, for another spectacular year. They set records, but I can understand why. You think about the product. Where else do you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty? That's what you get on every new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Oh, and thank you again for the 11th straight year, the #1 certified pre-owned car dealership in all of Memphis. It starts with that product, but then it goes to the shopper assurance. Where else do you go where you get transparent pricing, flexible test drive, take the car for a couple of days if you want, streamlined buying process? You're not going to be there all day, in and out. And then, and I have not seen this anywhere else, the 3-day worry-free exchange. You buy a new car, if you've got any buyer's remorse, you've got 3 days to change your mind. Just get on Lamar, take it into Mississippi, the first exit's Craft Road, turn left, and go see Chris True and all the gang at Homer Skelton Hyundai.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
No new accidents to report, no delays to report as well. No new accidents, no delays to report. Keep it right here, hour number 3. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Body's a temple, that's what we're taught.
Welcome back, everybody. Good morning to you. 9:05 is the time. Hour number 3 here on Sports 56 Mornings, the Tuesday, November 23rd, 2021 edition. Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Zach Boyd. We are in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40. Earlier in the program, Cody Topper joined us from New York City, Tigers assistant basketball coach. Now it's time to go back to the Big Apple, where Dr. Adam Walker is pinch hitting today for Jeff Crane. He's the University of Memphis Executive Associate AD. He's been on with us a number of times. You can follow him on Twitter at Adam G. Walker. And I'm afraid, Adam, that... Let me bring Adam on. I'm afraid that Cody may have stolen your thunder, but I'm sure there's a different version for you, Adam, about the travel nightmare for you guys coming in yesterday to New York City. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning. I just texted with Cody. I said, you stole my thunder this morning. So it was a little bit of Memphis's version of planes, trains, and automobiles, the week of the Thanksgiving, and our 4-hour delay with the plane, bus broke down in Midtown Manhattan. We had the tour guide there, and he was still trying to give the tour. And after about 40 minutes, people are like, "Okay, that's enough. We're tired of hearing about Lexington and 42nd Street." So it was one for the ages, but we made it safe and sound. A little 12 hours later, but we made it.
Boy, if there's one place you really want to be broken down, right in the just middle of Manhattan, that seems like a real good place to just be broken down with nowhere to go.
Well, from my time, growing up in the Northeast, I know that the drivers are very patient. They're not going to have any issues if they're delayed and there's a bus that breaks down in front of them. There's going to be no honking going on. They're very, very polite up there.
Yeah, absolutely. It was kind of funny because we got done eating, and Coach Rashid and a couple of the players go, "Hey, which bus is going back to the hotel first?" I said, "Oh, this one. Come on, jump on." And did they pick wrong. It was about an hour later they got the hotel after the other bus. But anyways, we're here. We're good spirits, and that's always why we plan ahead and get here usually a day early. So it's like coaching. You got to do a few adjustments.
So I know this is the coaches will always tell you it's a business trip. It's a business trip, and it is a business trip to some degree, but it's also a lot of fun because a lot of family members of the staff are with them. And for the players, they're seeing New York City, some maybe for the very first time. And it's a great tourist city to go to because there's so much there and there's so much history. So I'm sure they're enjoying themselves as well. But on the court, this is a step up. There's no question about it. Tigers got a couple of tough tussles from St. Louis and Western Kentucky going up in level of competition from their first two games. But now they go up another level. And the question will be, with all this talent, is the chemistry there? Have they meshed already through 4 games? Are they ready for the Big Apple, technically Brooklyn, for this couple of games coming up here, Adam?
Yeah, and I think so. You're exactly right. This is where the rubber meets the road. We had some good non-conference games last week. Were some good tests, but you're right. These are 2 quad 1 games. So if we can get Virginia Tech tomorrow and possibly Xavier or Iowa State on Friday, those would be a great way to keep the season going for sure.
So what's on the schedule for today then? With another day here, hopefully no bus breakdowns. But what goes into today?
Yeah, they've already been up early, eat breakfast, do some scouting, some film. They're headed off to practice now at the Barclays Center, and then they'll actually get to eat some lunch. Then they're going to the Knicks game tonight, so they get a little bit more of New York.
Who are the Knicks playing? Are they playing the Lakers?
I believe so. I'm not sure. I think so. I'm not sure.
The reason, we'll check on that too. But the reason I think it's the Lakers, it is the Lakers because LeBron's suspended, which is interesting.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
They won't get to see LeBron in action.
Yeah, they won't get to see LeBron in the Big Apple playing the Knicks with all the fans there. So that's unfortunate. But for those who haven't been to the Garden, obviously one of the sports meccas, one of the great sports meccas of the world. So certainly that'll be a lot of fun for the players themselves. Over the weekend, big news from the Grizzlies, and then you guys subsequently released that information as well. But the vaccine requirements for COVID-19 are off the table now. You can go to games. You don't have to show that you've been vaccinated. You don't have to be vaccinated. You don't even have to wear a mask, although they encourage it. So starting with your next home game, and, of course, the Grizzlies' next game at home, which is tomorrow, fans are back to somewhat normalcy.
Yeah, that's correct. So, the governor signed the bill, given that directive, FedEx Forum, as you know, it was just for a month period, and they reviewed it and decided to lift the restrictions. And I think it's just another, barrier that's kind of been pushed aside. So hopefully, if that was keeping anybody away, that'll help get some more people in the building. And of course, masks are always recommended, so people can enter and enjoy the games at now however they wish. But yeah, next game is December 10th, and we're looking forward to getting a little bit back more to normalcy for sure.
From what you've heard from fans, do you think it was a big deterrent was there a lot of people that weren't going because of that, or how big of an effect do you think it has had?
It was I think a vocal minority, and there were certainly some people that didn't go because of it. But I think it's just one more deterrent,
Mm-hmm.
So anytime you can alleviate one step, even though it was a quick and easy step at all, I think it's a little bit easier for them, as long as we, health and safety as well. But with everything in terms of, vaccination numbers on the rise, COVID cases down, I feel like, it's a good environment and a good timing to do that.
Look, it's been a big challenge for not only you guys, but for every school around the country, because we know that fans have the chance to watch all these games, or at least most of these games, from the comfort of their living room. So you're going to have to think outside the box as you look for things to entice them to spend their money and come and watch teams play, no matter how good those teams are. You have a Memphis team that's now ranked 9th in the country. And I would say 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, for certain, the place would probably have 14,000 season tickets sold and be near sellouts for every single game. And the times have changed. So if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about those challenges and how you can get more fans out there to watch a team that's nationally ranked like Memphis is.
Yeah, for sure. And you've seen that around the country. You mentioned that, Greg, is that, a lot of people are a little bit slow to get back inside. And I think people more and more as they get used to it. And we've tried to really make an emphasis on the fan experience at the game. So when people do come, they have a great time because it's a great atmosphere. It's electric. As you said, it's the top 10 team in the country, and they are very exciting when you come and watch them play. So when people come, they have a great time. And that's what it's all about, is making sure while they're there, the experience is better than they could have at home, with the big screen TV. And so, we're continually work with that. We got a 3-game pack that starts at $45. They can pick any 3 games. So it's a great opportunity. They can go on a website or give our ticket office a call, GoTigersGoTix.com. So there's plenty of opportunities to get in the building, and excuses are dwindling, I would say. So hopefully get more and more people back in the building.
It's one of those things because you want, with the TV deal, you want as much money as you can get. You want your games to be shown. But when every game is available on, whether it's on actual TV or at least on the internet, which obviously so many people now have the ability to go online and stream these games, when every single one of them is available for people to watch, then there's less of a need, I guess, to go to the game. So you guys have to look at it as you said, how do we make it so much better that they don't want to have to just sit at home and watch it on TV?
Right, getting creative and whatnot. But you're exactly right. I mean, they have an opportunity to watch a lot of games, and the Saturday before we had football and basketball, so that made for a long day. And so some fans with families or whatnot had to pick and choose. So I think as we get along and further in the season, I think you're going to see more and more people come back, remember how fun it is, and continue to come to games.
No, I completely agree, and not to belabor the point, the competition, who the Tigers play, is certainly important. And I know you guys, and I know Penny has certainly exhausted the list to try to get some of these big names to play a home and home, to commit to come to FedEx Forum in Memphis. And for whatever the reason is, probably they're afraid to take an L. Some of these teams, some of these big-time programs don't want to come. But you entice and you get those teams to come in here and you enhance that schedule, more people are going to want to go see those opponents, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we've got some good games we're working on with Power 5 teams. We got 2 SEC schools that we haven't played in recent years. We're talking to them. We've got an ACC school that's interested. So, we're always reaching out. As you guys know, the big issue is just scheduling and timing, because by contract we have to have 17 home games at FedEx Forum. And so some years we're not able to do a home and home with everybody because we have to have some of these bye games to meet our minimum qualifications for FedEx Forum. So when you're down to only 2-3 dates a year that we can host somebody, and the other school says, hey, we'd love to play you, but it's got to be at our place this year, you really have to work around that schedule. But, I think, you talk about the loss, yes, but I think in basketball, people also see Memphis as we're a national brand, top 10 team. So it's really a win-win because they can come to our place, we can sell out theirs. And so I think more people are open to playing us these days.
Meanwhile, obviously you're in New York. It's a big week for basketball, and it's a massive week for football too. Trying to get bowl eligible this weekend in the final regular season game of the year.
It is. So, senior night, 6:30. So we're excited. Needing people out there at the Liberty Bowl, trying to get bowl eligible. So Tulane's been a pesky team. You noticed about every time this year that they've been playing very well. So we got to come out ready to play.
Look, there's not a major difference between 5 wins and 6 wins, but because of the bowl eligibility factor of 6, the perception of only winning 5 and not going to a bowl game will be pretty bad from the fan base. There's no question that they will look at that as a step backwards. And there's a lot of reasons. There's been a lot of injuries. There's a lot of issues that have been happening. And this team has fought and fought and fought. And the one thing you got to love about this team is that they battle. They haven't quit. There's no problems in the locker room. But, Adam, to get to 6, to keep the bowl streak going is really pivotal for this program.
It really is. And it just shows how far we've come along. When I came here nearly 11 years ago, we would have been happy with 4 wins.
Right.
And so we've really built this into something where people expect to win, which is a good thing. The worst thing you guys know is apathy. Mm-hmm. So people, caring, having passion, we want to keep that bowl streak alive for sure. It just helps because, not only recruitment but and a momentum, but also development. So, we have a lot of young players, especially now with the transfer portal. You want to make sure that you get the players in, you got them gelling. And so the bowl, essentially allows you to have 3 extra weeks of practice. And so that's always big going into the next year too. So as you guys mentioned, tough year, some injuries, turnovers, but we've been almost in every game. So we see a lot of promise going into next year.
All right, if you're taking orders, bring me back a couple of slices of Ray's Pizza. I want some original New York City cheesecake, if you can get that, some Italian cookies. It is crazy how much variety of food and how tempting it is to eat everything there in New York City. So pace yourself, Adam, because there's so many goodies in New York City. Have a lot of fun. Bring back a couple of wins. We appreciate you stepping in for Jeff Crane always. Thank you so much for joining us, and happy Thanksgiving to you and your family.
Thank you, guys. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and we'll try to walk and run as much as you can to work off all those calories.
That's right. Thank you, Adam.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Adam Walker, who's pinch hitting for Jeff Crane. He's the University of Memphis Executive Associate AD. Yeah, he doesn't have to worry about that. And I'm sure he's enjoying running. He's a runner. He runs every day, rain or shine, hot or cold, and I'm sure he's enjoying running in a different venue of New York. But, man, oh, man, the food. The food is unbelievable. And I told my family's going up to New York. I don't know if you knew that. They're all going to be there. I will be here.
I can't imagine what that day was like yesterday. That's got, oh gosh. I mean, the 4-hour delay with the flight is enough would drive me to insanity, just about. And then to end up on a broken down bus for the ones that were on that bus, oh my gosh, I would have been going, I would have lost my mind. I would have looked like Isaiah Stewart. I would have been running around trying to go at somebody because there's nothing worse than just sitting around not being able to get where you're going.
Yeah, I don't understand these chartered flights with these delays unless it's a real mechanical issue. A lot of times it's not. They end up going and picking up another team and they're delayed for whatever reason. Maybe they're in a different part of the country where there's weather involved. So I guess I've just talked myself into understanding that. But we've had 2 of them, I think at least 2 delays for Memphis football this year where we had to sit around and wait. The Orlando trip I know for sure, and I think there was another one. So you're at the mercy of these charter companies. And it's unfortunate when your players just hoping to relax a little bit. Now you get back to the hotel real late. Now you get less sleep. You get up early to practice, and hopefully you get into a rhythm. The good thing, I guess, for the team, and I don't think it's a great thing for anybody to sit around and wait and then play late at night. But when you're trying to maybe get back your wits after all those travel issues, for Memphis tomorrow night, they will play at 8:30 Central. So you're talking about, right, 9:30 Eastern tip.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, the way they can have effect. I mean, if they had a whole day today, like it's not going to affect them in the game, but it's a miserable day.
No, I understand, but you're tired. You're still trying to catch up. If you got to bed later than you usually do, because now you're up early practicing, I'm sure they're going to do sightseeing. As you said, they're going to go to see, or as Adam said, they're going to go see the Knicks play tonight at Madison Square Garden. Then you get out of Madison Square Garden, and then you got to get back to Brooklyn. But again, it's not an early Thursday tip, so I'm sure Penny will let them sleep a little bit before they do shoot around and get ready for the game. But this is very important, Eli, and I am just – look, I have broadcasted all their games to this point, and it's an extremely high amount of talent on this team.
But I'm still a little concerned with rotation. And we'll see if it changes, what Penny decides to do, because I still don't think it's etched in stone. And Penny was the first one to admit after the game that he played Alex Lomax too long. And what have I been saying? I don't know how long I can say it. That this is the guy. It's a security blanket. Earl Timberlake was having a terrific game. He ended up playing 11 or 12 minutes. And he said, I should have brought Earl back into the game. He stuck with Alo. Alo did some nice things. He had some steals and some assists, but he also turned it over 6 times, and he's your senior leader out there. He can't be doing it. If he's going to turn the ball over, then you might as well use somebody else because others can score. Timberlake can score. He's physical. But the other thing, and I think it's concerning, is Minot played 4 minutes. I believe it was 4. And Camden is not getting off the bench. I know he was out for a couple of games with the foot, but he was available the other night. He played a minute and change in game 1. And you worry about the present, but almost like the Grizzlies. They're always worried about, and they're always thinking about the future. I'm thinking about the future, too. So hopefully Minot is not going to be, in this day and age when you turn and run and you jump into that portal, that you're going to be okay with not playing all the time. But these are a couple of guys who are, I think, the future for Memphis. And I would not like to see Memphis lose guys of that ilk, that talent, because you're playing a couple of veteran players that are from Memphis that have been around the program for a long time. Dandridge, I'd rather see Minot get the minutes than Dandridge. I'd rather see Timberlake and whoever else get the minutes than Alo, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned it before that one of the weird things about this is that a lot of the guys on the kind of outskirts of the rotation, like the decisions that have to be made, one of the guys seems, is guys Penny has relationships with. It's the guys he either coached in high school or a guy like Alo, who's even much more than that, versus guys that while he recruited him here, he doesn't have that long-standing relationship with that he has with the guys that they're kind of competing with for those minutes at the end of that rotation.
No question about it. So I'll be curious to see what happens against a team that's very deliberate, a veteran-type team. I'm still shocked when Cody joined us. When he said the number, because I didn't get a chance to watch any of the game between Purdue and Villanova, that Purdue had 4 turnovers, and it was, what did he say, 11 total?
Yeah, I think that's what he said.
That is so hard to believe when you see teams looking to run, take the ball in transition, go down and score. The problem for Memphis is not that they're being D'd up so tightly or they're being challenged with presses that they're turning the ball over in that situation. They're turning the ball over because they're looking for the home run. They're dribbling off their legs, or they're picking up their dribble, or they're going into the air, and then they don't know anywhere to go. And Lomax, bless his heart, is a leader, but he shouldn't be doing this still as a senior. And people, maybe they're seeing it differently than I am, but I'm seeing him making the same mistakes as he made as a freshman. And he can't be. He's great on the floor if he doesn't make those mistakes. Just get the ball to the guys, right? You're not the scorer. Don't be trying to shoot. Get the ball to the guys that need to get the ball. If you're not going to do that, get somebody else in there who can do that.
Tigers are, by the way, currently 353rd in the nation in turnover percentage.
How many D1 schools?
There are 360. Let me double check here.
It's awful, no matter what.
I can't. I'm looking at Ken Palm here.
And I know Tennessee had some turnover issues in their loss the other day. Who'd they lose to? Villanova, right? And then they bounced back and they beat North Carolina.
358.
Oh my God, that's so bad.
There are 5 teams worse than Memphis: Eastern Illinois, Grambling, UT Arlington, Jacksonville, and Incarnate Word are the 5 teams that are worse than Tigers at turning the ball over.
The one thing about the St. Louis game, or was it the Western Kentucky game, that they turned over their opponent as much as they made turnovers. So it kind of evened out in the end. I think it was Western Kentucky.
Yeah, they're 29th in defensive turnover percentage.
Right.
So they're getting turnovers. They turn it over 27.2% of the time. They get a turnover 25.3% of the time. So it somewhat evens out. But they're shooting the ball extremely well. They're doing a lot of things extremely well, basically, other than turning the ball over and shooting free throws.
Yeah. I mean, I love this team. There is so much talent. They're so deep. There's so many different options. Just protect the basketball. Come down and cherish every single possession. And look, Bates is making that transition to college and to have the ball in his hands an awful lot. He's going to make some mistakes. Timberlake's made some mistakes when he's been in there. Nolly has turned it over sometimes with the basketball. Lomax is the one that I don't expect him to turn the ball over as much because he's been there and done that, but he continues to do that.
Up next, we were talking earlier a little bit about college basketball and kind of getting lost in the shuffle and all that stuff, but I've got some ratings from the sports events over the weekend from all the various sports. This will explain a lot about where college basketball ranks.
All right. Enjoy a football feast this Thanksgiving Day by winning $150 on a $5 bet when you join FanDuel Sportsbook. New customers, this is your chance to gobble up 30-1 odds. See what I did there? Just place your first bet on any NFL team to win Thanksgiving Day. You got the Bears-Lions, you got the Raiders-Cowboys, you got the Bills-Saints. I love the Cowboys. I love the Cowboys over the Raiders to bounce back from their disappointing performance against the Chiefs. FanDuel is sports betting made simple. They're always hooking you up with great offers. And when you win, you'll get paid in as little as 2 hours. It's easy to use, safe and secure. The #1 rated sportsbook app in America. Sign up with promo code GASMAN to get in on the action. Celebrate Thanksgiving by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code GASMAN when you sign up, so they know I sent you. Exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or over, present in Tennessee. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Max bonus $150. Bonus for Tennessee users fulfilled in site credit within 72 hours. Tennessee site credit expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline. That's 1-800-889-9789. This is Sports 56 Mornings with Greg and Eli on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Let me tell you about the coolest place you got to go check out. It is the Old Dominick Distillery, located right in the heart of downtown. Old Dominick offers full distillery tours, curated tastings, and craft cocktails. So whether you're stopping in for a refreshing drink while you're exploring downtown Memphis, or maybe you're finishing up a night out in style, the bar at Old Dominick Distillery offers up carefully crafted cocktails to suit everybody's taste in an elevated yet relaxed atmosphere. Pull up a stool at the bar and join Old Dominick mixologists for a cocktail made entirely with spirits produced under the watchful eye of master distiller Alex Castle. So whether you fancy an old-fashioned or maybe you want to try a flight of Old Dominick products, the expert mixologists at Old Dominick, they're ready to serve you. Visit OldDominick.com for bar hours, or maybe you want a 45-minute tour. Any way you look at it, you'll love Old Dominick.
The holidays are fast approaching, so start on your list now at Mid-South Hobbies. E-Flight Airplanes, Athearn Trains. Mid-South Hobbies has a huge selection of cars, trucks, and boats from Arma, Losi, Axial 1/10 and 1/24 scale cars, trucks, and crawlers. Spectrum batteries and all accessories are here now. Santa shops local. Hope you do too. Make your holidays fun and exciting at Mid-South Hobbies. Open 7 days a week at 4862 Summer at Mendenhall. Call 901-682-9402 for more details and information. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Mid-South Hobbies.
AC trouble? Call Air Doctors of Memphis, 901-598-HVAC. Owner Matt Davis is a third-generation full-service air conditioning specialist. Air Doctors of Memphis services all major brands, and labor and parts are guaranteed 100%. Their yearly AC checkup is only $60. Then this year, Air Doctors is the official HVAC contractor for St. Jude Dream House. Air Doctors installed the St. Jude Dream House new Train high-efficiency equipment. Get your service from the best. AirDoctorsOfMemphis.com. Call 901-598-HVAC.
Veterans face treacherous situations filled with peril while serving our country. Many veterans come home physically injured. suffering from PTSD, have traumatic brain injuries, or other ailments. At an unprecedented time in history, our most vulnerable veterans are isolated at hospitals and their homes. Imagine having to shelter in place forever. Over the past year, Help Heal Veterans has sent nearly 500,000 therapy kits to isolated veterans and active military. Help Heal Veterans, with the support of citizens like you, creates, manufactures, and distributes therapeutic art and crafts projects for our veterans and military, making things better together. Join us in supporting an isolated or sick veteran and help them through this desperate time. To learn more, visit healvets.org. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans, a not-for-profit organization that has been helping veterans for 50 years. healvets.org.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Gonna put the world away for a minute. Pretend I don't live in it.
Welcome back. I hope your Tuesday is off to a good start. This hour of our program is indeed brought to you by Acura of Memphis, which you can find on Ridgeway right at 385. Or you can also find them online at acuraofmemphis.com. And if you go to the website right now, you can see special financing options that they've got available right now through the end of the year for the MDX, the RDX, and the TLX. You can always find out what special deals they've got going on their website at acuraofmemphis.com. And also can find out a lot about all of the different automobiles, plus the inventory of pre-owned vehicles and the certified pre-owned vehicles. And those Acura certified vehicles are absolutely fantastic because you get a little extra warranty of powertrain coverage up to 100,000 miles when you buy one of those certified pre-owned Acuras. They go through a 182-point inspection. I wouldn't even know what 182 points to look at on an automobile. I would just look at it. Didn't know there were 182 places to look. But by golly, they go through a 182-point inspection before they put that certified pre-owned Acura title on it. And again, you get a great deal, a great way to save a little money and get a little extra warranty as well. Again, you can go to acuraofmemphis.com and see the inventory of certified pre-owned Acuras and all the pre-owned vehicles that they've got, plus information on the new vehicles. And again, those special deals right now on the MDX, RDX, and TLX, all by going to the website. But better yet, go take a test drive and talk to the folks at Acura of Memphis.
All right, before you get to your stuff, Ole Miss, the opening line in the Egg Bowl was a 2-point road favorite. Very quickly, Mississippi State was bet up to a favorite. -1.5, -1, -2, depending on the book you're looking at. Why do you think that happened?
Mississippi State's playing really well, and Ole Miss did not play that well against Vanderbilt last week. And Ole Miss, the offense hasn't been playing at the level it was earlier in the year.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree. I would agree with that. But
Mississippi State's been playing really well.
But I'm still curious why Vegas would make Ole Miss the favorite right out the chute.
Because that's what their power numbers had them at.
Okay.
I mean, that's the open. I mean, it's all based on power numbers.
Yeah, so we're not going to have a show Thursday. We're not going to do a pick six, but Harold's going to join us tomorrow. We'll go over some of these games. We'll talk about some of these games, including the Egg Bowl. And I was telling everybody yesterday on the show that I'm going to wait till Wednesday to make my play. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think before the season I would say absolutely I'm taking Ole Miss, even on the road. But the way Mississippi State has played lately, and since they played Memphis way back when the Tigers won, they are a much different team. And Ole Miss is starting to get healthier with the receivers. I don't know who's all back, who's going to be available for the Egg Bowl, but it is going to be quite the game. Cannot wait to watch that one.
So I was looking at these ratings, television ratings. This was for all of the various sporting events over the weekend, the ones that were actually watched by a decent number of people. But this is this tells you a lot about where college basketball kind of ranks.
Mm-hmm.
So the most watched college basketball game of the weekend was the Villanova-Purdue matchup. It's on network television on ABC. Two highly ranked teams. This is a great matchup. It averaged 583,000 people as its audience. College football, by comparison, the most watched was Arkansas, Alabama, average 5.4 million. So basically 10 times. Or no, would that be more than 10 times? What would that be?
That would be 10 times, right?
Yeah, that would be 10 times. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right. But like, what that college basketball game is comparable to as far as audience goes in college football is basically like the Memphis-Houston game Friday night had more viewers than that college basketball game. That's on ESPN2 on a Friday night versus network ABC television on Sunday afternoon. And Memphis-Houston had more viewers than that college basketball game. Like that, the Northern Illinois Buffalo game on Wednesday night on ESPN2 had slightly fewer viewers than that college basketball game, which was the number one college basketball game of the weekend.
So there's a couple of things at play. Number one, football is our country's biggest sport. American football in this country is the number one sport. Now, around the world, it certainly isn't. Basketball is more popular than American football. Soccer, or football as they like to say around the world, is more popular than American football. But in the United States, it is the number one sport. The second thing is, and I think there's a lot to say about having your team play once a week and having games. Now, there's games on Tuesday and Wednesday with the Mac Attack and all that stuff. I understand that. But there's more basketball games, just like there's more baseball games. There's not as many football games. And I think because there's less, it's more important to people. And they want to see those games as much as they can because even though it's a lengthy season, you're anticipating each week because there's only one game played. And I think that's a part of it as well. But, yeah, I didn't think I thought the numbers would be pretty bad, but I didn't think it would be that bad, especially your comparison between the Memphis-Houston game compared to the number one college basketball game ratings-wise for the week.
Yeah, and again,
the weekend.
Network ABC versus ESPN2.
Yeah,
that's football still
that surprised me. That surprised me.
And then the other, the behemoth of it all. I mean, this is just ridiculous. So I mentioned the number one college football game, Arkansas Alabama, 5.4 million average viewers for that. The NFL, the 3:00 Fox window, which was mainly Cowboys Chiefs. That was most of the nation, but there were some other parts that didn't get that game, in local markets.
Mm-hmm.
Average audience, 28 million. So the best college football, 5.4 million. NFL, 28 million people Sunday afternoon. Average audience for mainly Cowboys Chiefs, but some markets got other games.
Yeah, the NFL is another planet.
And that game now, the next highest was the noon Sunday window on Fox, which wasn't nearly what the 3:00 window was. Obviously, Cowboys Chiefs were going to make that big, but that's 17 million.
Well, like you said, it's a behemoth. There's nothing like the NFL, but college football and these type of numbers is why when we always discuss the topic of realignment and expansion and things of that nature at the collegiate level, we talk about football because football is the most important sport by far at any institution. And while some have strong basketball programs, it's the football that carries. For example, and I don't know this for a fact, maybe there are a few exceptions. I don't know. Is Duke an exception? But Duke football plays in the ACC, and they have a nice little contract with ESPN. Do they bring in more money from that contract than Duke does basketball-wise? I would think that they probably still do. Even though it's Duke, it's a huge brand. I would imagine that the contract with ESPN and football at Duke, the ACC, is more than basketball. I don't know the numbers. I don't have those figures in front of me. But even if it doesn't, it's a rare exception. So that's why when we say the term, football stirs the drink, it does.
Well, again, and it goes back to my point earlier was when people talk about there's too many bowl games and all this stuff. This is why, again, ESPN owns all of them for the most part because a just throwing a football game on the air for ESPN, it doesn't matter who the matchup really is, just putting a football game on the air is way better for them than putting the best college basketball matchups there are. Like, I wonder what Gonzaga UCLA will do tonight. Like, we'll have to see what those numbers are. But they can't find a college basketball matchup, a regular season college basketball matchup, that will do anything for them compared really to just throwing two football teams on the air playing each other.
The other thing is I would be interested to know the breakdown demographically of, or geographically, not demographically, geographically, of the viewers for Arkansas, Alabama. Of the 5.4 million viewers, the bulk are coming from the Southeast. But I wonder what that percentage is compared to anybody watching a regional teams, but a national, certainly national brand, the SEC, on the West Coast, in the Northeast. Northeast is not known as a college. It's more college basketball really than it is football, other than Penn State. I'm talking about the Northeast, like the Atlantic area, and pro sports dominate. I grew up, it was all about pro sports. It wasn't at all about college sports, at all. Then I moved here, and it's all about college sports, right? Sprinkled in with your little bit of NBA here, a little bit of NFL here and there. But NFL's still kings because everybody has their teams. Everybody grew up watching the NFL. It's still number one. But college football's huge, and that's a big reason is because of the game itself, the game of football. But I still think at times it's regional. And that's why I would love to see the number breakdown. But with basketball, there's so many games. Gonzaga's playing UCLA tonight, and then they're playing Duke, Friday?
Yes, I believe that's Friday.
I mean, so every there's 3 games a week that the teams are playing sometimes, or at least 2, and sometimes significant opponents both times. So if you miss that one, you'll see them again. But these college football matchups, it's once a week.
This weekend, the games just again, and this is just counting the college basketball games from the weekend. Well, no, I guess it was the full week because there was some Tuesday night stuff in here. But there were, so this was last week. There were 18 college football games that averaged a bigger audience than the number 1 college basketball game. So if you're just taking the college sports, the first college basketball game you find is number 19 on the list of ratings.
Yeah,
I mean it's like they just cannot compete with football.
That's why here at Memphis, it is so pivotal to have that football program where it has been and not to drop off. And that still hasn't been good enough to get him into another conference, into a Power 5 conference. Yet there's those that still believe that there's going to be further expansion. I'll believe it when I see it. But if the Big 12 does, you don't want to all of a sudden get into a rut with your football program where you have a couple of years, you're not going to bowl games, you've dropped off in recruiting. That's hopefully not going to be the case. Remember, this is a team that still was competitive in the games they lost for the most part, maybe with the exception of 1 or 2, but injuries have certainly reared its ugly head with Memphis. Is that the only reason? Are there other things? How are they doing on the recruiting trails? But here's the thing. You got to get the 6. It's much more, even though it's a 1-win difference, the perception of 6 in a bowl and 8 straight years of going to a bowl, then stopping that streak with 5 wins is a big thing. It's a perception that sometimes becomes reality. And Memphis football, as well as the basketball program is doing and can do, and hopefully they're back to the tournament and things have turned around, right, because they have the players to do so, it's the football program that will help them land a spot in another conference if there is further expansion. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call my friend Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. They offer financing with different plans and options to choose from, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same-as-cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket, whatever it takes to get the roof fixed. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. They do residential and commercial roofing. So business owners, property managers, along with homeowners. If you have a leak or any other problem with your roof, you call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They're licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. Plus, they do all types of work around the home. If you can do it yourself, great. If not, you call Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration, like carpentry work or exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up fencing, siding. In fact, Brandon is a certified shingle installer, so the shingles are down. He can put them up for you. Rotten wood repair, whatever it takes, they can do it for you. That's quality work at a very reasonable price. Satisfaction guaranteed on all the work they do. Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. For all your roofing and home repair needs, call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084. Check them out online at newroofmemphis.com. We're coming back with our final segment here on this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings right after this quick TO on Real Sports Talk, Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
The Christmas sale is happening now at Family Leisure. Did you know that's where Santa goes to shop? Oh, yes. Why? Because arcades are up to 25% off. Air hockey and foosball tables, they start at just $149.99. You can get great deals on hot tubs and saunas. Let me tell you, that is perfect for the winter weather. Trampolines, up to 20% off. This is the best time to buy. Pool tables and shuffleboard tables in stock and ready for delivery. They're not waiting on a boat somewhere. Speaking of delivery, those schedules are filling up very, very fast. So reserve your date now, just in time for Christmas. It's the Family Leisure Christmas Sale. It's happening now. Remember, shop early, shop local, and shop where Santa shops. It's Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40. It's where family and fun come together for the holidays.
We all agree that the steaks at 117 Prime, Memphis's premier downtown dining destination, are by far the best in town. Always cooked to perfection over an open flame by the steak experts. But there's so much more to Prime. Of course, there are the oysters from the Raw Bar, from the East Coast, the Gulf Coast, and the West Coast. Available every day with house-made cocktail sauce, horseradish, and 2 different mignonettes. Maybe you're not a fan of raw oysters. Then try them served 3 different ways, including Oysters Rockefeller. If you deserve a truly special occasion, you deserve 117 Prime.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
So how bad has it gotten for Bears head coach Matt Nagy? Video has surfaced of fans chanting "Fire Nagy" at Matt Nagy's son's high school football game.
Yeesh.
The poor kids are trying to play football and go to school, and the fans are chanting "Fire his dad" at a high school game. It is not good.
It is not. Pretty much anything that goes on anywhere in the city of Chicago now, Fire Nagy starts breaking out. Like, it's Bulls games, so what? Fire Nagy. Like, it's just no matter what. They're poor guy. I'm surprised they haven't done it yet, honestly. I guess they're just going to wait till the end of the year. It's funny where somebody texted in last night after the Giants lost, Joe Judge saying it was the coach's fault. And they texted, they said, Pruitt, Dooley, and Garrett are all on the Giants staff, and Judge says it's the coaches. LOL.
Oh, when somebody tweeted out the picture, Dooley, Jeremy, I had no idea Jeremy Pruitt was with the Giants. Freddie Kitchens was another one.
Coaching staff
they're all. I thought it was a joke. I didn't know they were all on the Giants.
The thought is he's going to fire Jason Garrett today, but because he would not even he was asked if he's going to be his offensive coordinator, and he said he wasn't going to go into that. So the thought is he might be firing Jason Garrett today.
This judge, he brings Garrett into his office and he says, "Listen, I'm the judge, the jury, and the executioner. You're out."
I still don't understand why he ever hired Jason Garrett as an offensive coordinator, but that's not my decision to make.
Garrett's brother got fired from his gig. Did you see that? He was the head football coach at, I want to say, Lafayette in Pennsylvania. Gone.
I did not know that.
Gone.
Somebody also texted and said, what was the ratings? Ask about the ratings for the Kentucky Duke college basketball game. That night they had the doubleheader with Kansas, Michigan State, Kentucky Duke. Kentucky Duke, that game did 1.7 million average viewers. So that was obviously much better than this past week's number one college basketball game. Still not up there with nowhere near the top college football games, but did do 1.7 million. The Kansas-Michigan State game, the early game of that night, did 1.5 million as the average audience.
Who do you think the top three are in order of viewers? Who do they want to watch the most in college basketball? Who would you say number one is? They're going to bring in the most viewers.
Probably Duke.
2, Kentucky?
Probably Kentucky.
And then Kansas?
Kansas, North Carolina, maybe.
Okay.
North Carolina certainly would be up there. But yeah, so that was, and I would assume, and I would assume that game is the top college basketball game of the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine another college basketball game has done better than 1.7 million as its average audience. Again, when last week's number one on network television was 500-something thousand, I can't imagine one's done better than 1.7 million.
Well, like you said, you're going to be curious to see what tonight brings as far as viewers for 1 versus 2. It's Gonzaga and UCLA. UCLA has a history as a following. Gonzaga, even though they're a great program, I don't know what type of following they have. I would imagine it's going to pale in comparison to 1.7. I don't think they'll probably do 1 million, 1,000,001. I can't imagine they're going to get to 1.7 or pass it.
Another text here on the Tigers says, Penny is playing with fire. He's recruiting all this top talent and then not playing them. He's playing his favorites. Lomax should be playing very limited minutes, and Dandridge. Dandridge, Harris, and Hardaway should never hit the floor. He better be playing the guys he recruited or he will lose them. And the word will get around that Penny will recruit you but then not play you.
That's an interesting point, a fair point, and we'll see. But it is interesting, and it's exactly what I thought it would be. He has a lot of confidence in those players that he's known since his days at East High School, and he feels comfortable with those guys. But my gosh, yes, you bring in top-tier talent, you got to play them. Now, obviously, Duren and Bates are getting playing time, but Minot, 4 minutes last game? Wow.
Yeah, to me, Minot should absolutely be getting more minutes. I mean, it's great. Like, he's being in all these mock drafts, he's projected as a first-round pick, and he's getting 4 minutes in a game.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see this guy as a one-and-doneer. I don't see him leaving, but maybe leaving Memphis. I don't see him going to the NBA after 1 year, especially when you haven't had a chance to prove yourself. But we'll see what happens. I'll be real interested because I know the coaches, they have a nice conversation over this, but Penn has the ultimate decision. He makes the ultimate decision, and we'll see, especially with the ball handling duties. Will we see more Timberlake than Lomax tomorrow night? I doubt we'll see any change in the starting lineup. And look, Nolly, I'm afraid that Nolly's getting a little bit lost as a guy coming off the bench. So that's something they may have to revisit as well, as getting him into the starting lineup. He'll be going up against his former school tomorrow night, so there's the extra incentive as he'll be going up against Virginia Tech. Well, that's going to do it for this Tuesday edition of Sports 56 Mornings. Want to thank our guests, Connor O'Gara, Dr. Adam Walker from the University of Memphis, and Tigers assistant basketball coach Cody Topper. Tomorrow, Jerry Palm will join us from CBS Sports. Harold Grader will be on with us at 8:05. No show on Thursday because of Thanksgiving, but Harold will be on for a segment. And Sigmund Bloom.
The entertainment for this year.
Announcing the entertainment and maybe crying a little bit that Texas will not be bowl eligible. Maybe a few tears from HG. Sigmund Bloom, of course, will be in to answer all your fantasy football questions as the NFL gets kickstarted Week 12 on Thursday with 3 games on Turkey Day. And our 5 favorite things. We'll do that tomorrow. Your 5 favorite Thanksgiving food items. Turkey could be one item. Ham could be another. Stuffing one. Cranberry sauce, all that stuff. Give me 5 for tomorrow with our 5 favorite things. For Eli Savoy, for Zach Boyd, I'm Greg Gaston. Stay tuned. Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 is coming up next. Have a great Tuesday, everybody.